American Comedy Co. Those are my people.
Are they?
Shit.
Yeah, I met the owners a long time ago.
Oh, I went there one night and with a client, and I was doing security for a comedian, and went there, and they gave me a free shirt, and then everybody I talked to, they're like, dude, you should do stand up. They told me like anytime I want to come down there and get on an open mic, I should do it.
Man. That'd be
But
fun.
I was like, fuck.
That's it.
No balls. I just don't want to go down there and bomb, you know?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
everybody bombs, so it's like, well, it's not like I'm going to go up there and they're going to go have me, do a fucking hour-long set. Like, typically, like, their open mic shit is like 3 minutes or some shit.
But
Yeah.
still, if you just 5 minutes of seeing you got the delivery.
Yeah.
Getting someone with material, fuck, man.
Yeah, exactly.
You should.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you get like what do they call it? A clean 20 or something like that?
Something like that. Is that what they call it?
I think so. I don't know.
I thought that's like underwear. Clean 20.
Dude, the husband and wife who own that, wife is sweet as pie. The
Yeah.
husband is to this day of the business meetings I've been in.
Yeah.
Because this was pre-COVID when we had our agency. I actually had this vision. I wanted to do I'm a comedy fan.
Yeah.
And we had our partnership with the Hard Rock Hotel downtown, and they had that nice rooftop.
Yep.
And I had this vision, like, let's do an event up on the roof in that, like, you've seen the Hard Rock, right?
Yeah.
That big grass lawn they call
yeah, it's
Woodstock.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm like, downtown, outdoor. And for these comedy clubs like them and Comedy Store, like, they can only fit maybe 75 to 100
Yeah.
people. I'm like,
Yeah.
they'll be stoked, bigger venue. I need their database. And so I cold reached out to them. They brought me in, and I met with the husband and wife. And I'm like, I was like, should I start recording this? Because people will not believe how fucking crazy this guy is. And his staff, he had 2 of his staff in there, and they were just used to it. It was almost like Tourette's. He like had Tourette's,
shit.
and he would just shoot off. But she was like just neutral.
That is fucking hilarious.
And then like they love the idea, but I mean, with the hotel, I had to give like pro formas on everything we're doing, what we're spending, all that. And that was like over their head. I'm like, hey guys, can you give me, I'll do the rest. Just give me like, what's the talent cost going to be? What's the like,
Yeah.
And it like was, I think they almost took it like, dude, this guy's being a little too invasive. I'm like, no, I promise you, I have
This
to
is
package this.
normal business numbers.
They want
yeah.
to see this. And then it just kind of like died on the vine.
That
But they
sucks.
still, I always text the wife now. I always buy tickets. I go there at least once or twice a month.
Is that the one that's underground?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
right beside the
It's like
double
a gas
douche.
lamp.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a cool spot.
But
Yeah.
they sell at every show, and there's a huge line. She'll always like hold me. I'm like, hey, can I just have a spot up front? I bought tickets, and she's super fucking cool. But they're
That's
rad.
cool.
Yeah.
That's dope.
I don't know
Yeah.
if I met him. We were meeting with the manager, but I don't know if that was
probably
them or
them.
not.
They
but
kinda
yeah,
still-
they still run everything.
still manage, yeah.
It might have been. Yeah. It's
kind of
interesting.
It's kind of an unofficial start without the clap. do the snap in. There we go. So we got a running start to this show.
Yeah.
We were talking a lot beforehand. So in the Patreon community, we video the stuff before. Did I start that? I think I started it. Yeah, thanks. Fuck. This is why I'm not in charge of shit. We typically videotape beforehand. We videotape the breaks, and then afterwards too. So on there you get a much more in-depth conversation where sometimes we talk about stuff that we don't normally feel like broadcasting out to the public. Sometimes it's just in-depth personal conversations. Sometimes it's shit we just cut out because we're like, man, we don't want anybody.
I don't want to. We don't want to go to jail.
Exactly. Yeah. I know our tagline is like whiskey and war crimes, but it's like kind of cute, fun war crimes.
Yeah.
Not like actually war crimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're trying to stay out of jail here. But for that, we're officially in now. And for that, we're going to start. We just had our first virtual cigar meetup Sunday, which was dope. It was fun. We had, I think it was us 3 and then 9 other people there. And it was cool, man. We went for like 2.5 hours, just bullshitted, telling stories,
Recorded?
having fun. I did record it. I don't know if I'm going to record the
We live
next
streamed
ones.
it.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like over Zoom.
Yeah, it was Zoom.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to hear from the community and like have these two-way conversations. And it was because we're usually one telling the stories and say broadcast, but it was cool to see it like from their perspective and they get their stories too. So that was dope. One of the things we're doing for Patreon is having a toast in the beginning, which I thought was kind of a cool little tradition because drinking is like part of our thing here. Even though we'll probably drink less on this show than we normally do.
We did it at my house.
Yeah, Kent's Pub.
Fuck, let's go.
Yeah.
Where's that at?
That's it's in like the Del Cerro area of San
okay.
Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah, like overlooks like Mission Gorge Road.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
looks all the way. See all the way to like Mount Soledad, and then like my right side is like Cowles Mountain to the right.
That's a pad.
Yeah, it was nice, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Let's actually. I guess we'll do the toast, and then we'll do the drink here because this is. We'll get into the whole thing, but we might as well start with this
for sure.
So the toast that we're gonna do was. Sorry, I gotta read.
Yeah, who
this
came up with that?
Well, Disney and ChatGPT, but I thought it was really good. It says, "Here's the ones who keep the lights on, the mics hot, and the stories flowing."
Cheers.
That's good. Done deal.
I wish I'd come up with that on my own.
I would have believed you.
It's kind of sad how smart AI is. Like, God, like.
Yeah, they're
It's
like
actually
coming up with fucking like toast.
Yeah,
They're like,
it's legit funny. I'm like so pissed that our computer is funnier than I am.
Yeah.
very
Well, have you
annoying.
heard, speaking of stand-up comedy, comics now, they're having AI help write material.
Really?
And there's been some big comics going on, like in interviews saying like the way they finish off punchlines and give them like multiple options to use. And then obviously the comics delivering it, but AI is being used for fucking comedy.
wow.
It's a game changer. I thought when AI came out, we were like, cool, I can finally link up our warehouse management system and fucking QuickBooks and make them talk. Nope, I get fucking jokes and I get fucking creative writing.
Yeah. Fart jokes and fucking fucking toast.
I would have settled for a T1000, you know?
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
All right. So getting into it, it's my buddy Pete Lemke. We've known each other for, God, it's been like 15 years now, I think.
Long time, yeah.
Yeah, we met a long time ago, and then we've both been building businesses and doing our own thing. But I think we've been kind of like seeing each other in the periphery, like mutual friends. We see each other at events, a lot of entrepreneur stuff. Pete was never in the military, but I do feel like there's a lot of similarities between being an entrepreneur and I know the team guy mentality specifically is the only one I can speak on because that's the only one I was in the military. But it's a very similar mentality to like you're just getting there's challenges. You're getting your dick smacked every fucking day, not in a good way. And there's never ending problems, and you're always having to think out of the box to overcome these challenges. And I find it that most of my friends these days are other entrepreneurs. I still obviously hang out with, I have some team guy friends and some military friends, but these days I find I have most in common with other entrepreneurs. And It's been cool to watch your journey on the multiple businesses that you started, all the shit that you've gone through. And it's I know my own journey has been pretty fucking crazy, and I'm watching yours, and I feel like we're in parallel stuff. So I'm excited to dive into that today. And then I guess let's do this now, because this is your current project, which is Dropkick Coffee. Which, if you guys seen, this is what they have over here that they dropped off, and it packs a fucking kick, dude. I should probably only have like this whole.
Yeah. What did you pour us?
So that's our horchata coffee cold brew. So it's super popular here in San Diego.
Yeah.
Obviously, like horchata in the Southwest is like our unofficial national drink.
Right.
Does really well. And then I just brought the others. We'll probably
Does it go with vodka?
sample of it. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to hide this shit from my wife,
gonna
who's
test that real
Hispanic.
quick.
I'll get home and she'll be like, she'll like sniff it out and be like, "Have you been fucking cheating on me, drinking somebody else's horchata?"
It's funny because I was never a huge horchata fan because you mostly get them at like the taco shops and whatnot. But I just knew like popularity wise, like people in San Diego, and I saw someone on the East Coast putting horchata in a cold brew, and it's just taken off. So that's one of our flagships.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try it out with this. I'm not gonna have a whole lot to drink, but I think a little bit.
Hey, but I have to give you, before this thought leaves my mind, I don't know if I ever told you this, like way back when we first met. I think it might have been when you came to our studio and we were doing a podcast then.
Yeah, that's right.
You gave me, and I actually tell this pretty often. You gave me a book suggestion. I don't know if you remember this. The 5 love languages. And I always tell the story. I'm like, it's this big fucking SEAL guy. You'd never believe in a million years this is the guy who referred me this book. But you were not referring it, you were referring it like with company and staff and like how to relate to your staff. And now since then, obviously everybody references that, like, what's your love language? What's that? And most people haven't read it, but I read it right after you suggested it. And it was like one of the more useful pieces as far as running a business, just with all the different personalities. And you were also like, you were super self-aware that like, I'm not always the best fit to lead you or maybe like a sum of yous. And until you really read that, it was funny you suggested it helped with business, but it was also, I was single at the time. And I didn't really learn then until then, as a single guy, I'm like, oh, fuck, this is why I probably fucked up a lot of my relationships, not understanding it.
100%, man. I'm actually, part of me is actually glad that I didn't read it before, because I was in a very tumultuous relationship for like 9 years on and off. That
With that guy?
he was a good kisser.
It might have worked out.
But that's what I mean. Like, I might have been able to pull it off and make it work if I read it. But I'm really glad that didn't happen, because it wasn't meant to happen.
You're more a PB guy versus Hillcrest. Anyways,
that's true. But it was funny because I remember, like, in that relationship, like, we both really loved each other, but we both felt really unloved in the relationship because we were showing each other love in the ways that we wanted to receive love. Mm-hmm. And so we were doing things to the other person that weren't appreciated either way. So we both were like, what the fuck?
Couldn't you just 69 and
We should have scissored.
But I mean, the way you described it then, because it's like, you have to apply it different to work employees, but there's a lot of stuff that transfers over, just as how people receive. Because in a certain way, like, it's not the same type of love, but there is, like, if you're working day in and day out, like, you're seeing these people all the time. You have to figure out how you connect best, especially now, because I feel like the working class has gotten so sensitive. So you have to be in front of that too, is like, okay, what are your touch points? What are your trigger points? All that. That it was really helpful. Like, really helpful.
Dude, I think, I mean, obviously physical touch is one of the ones, but you can't be like, massaging employees. You probably have bigger problems if that's the route you go. But yeah, man, because everybody wants to be heard and valued, and that means different things. Like, sometimes it's time off, sometimes it's monetary compensation. Sometimes it's just, hey, they're doing a really good job, or sometimes it's an award. And it's up to you as the owner if you want to scale something. Like, you have your systems and processes, but it's your people that scale.
Sure.
And if you can't manage the people, then you can't effectively scale. And that's something that I struggled with for a long time. I still struggle with. I'm not good at it. I'm just less shitty than I used to be. And that's also why one of the big reasons why I put Disney in charge as a CEO, because for the team, especially the team that we had at the time, she's a way better CEO, connected way better with them. I was just kind of this grumpy guy that came in.
Running around barking orders at people.
That didn't work at all.
Where'd you get those pants, faggot? They'd be like, Ryan, it's Monday. Like, great to see you too.
It's tough, man. All right, but let's we'll bring it back. Let's go, like, Pete Lemke. Where did you grow up? Like, what did your childhood look like?
Yeah, so I was really young in Chicago, and family moved out. Like, my dad's dad, my mother and father, their siblings, like, all at the same time moved to the Southwest. We moved to Arizona. So I don't remember much Illinois, but I definitely, like, I grew up in Arizona. Through high school, went to Arizona State, graduated, and I was actually on the path after that to get into the fire department.
Oh, yeah.
All of my buddies still now. They're, it's crazy now. They're at the age now that they can technically retire if they want to, because they got in right after college. I just knew it wasn't, I was starting to feel out jobs post-college, and I just knew Arizona wasn't, I don't know if you've been, you growing up in that, I was just, the heat, everything else. And everybody in Arizona grows up in California or San Diego is like that's your paradise. It's everybody's dream. And so I just talked a couple buddies into it literally on a whim. Like, dude, they were East Coasters. They'd never even seen San Diego. And I said, you guys want to go out there and just spend a weekend? It was like a holiday weekend too. I'm like, we'll check out places, look at neighborhoods and whatnot. And we just partied the whole weekend. And they were literally like, hey, if you move, we're going. And so I came back. We didn't look at a single place, but I came back, and that was when, like, everything was on Craigslist. And I just found a place in PB that I knew, like, they didn't even have interior pictures. It was a 3-bedroom apartment.
Fucking rad.
All I cared about was the distance to the bars and the beach.
Yeah.
And it checked those boxes. I'm like, fuck it, let's go. We did all the deposits over the whatever they used back then. And I've been here 16 years.
Fucking Western, what do you call it?
Western Union.
Western Union.
Yeah. But so the rest is history. I love it here, but pretty much always been Southwest.
It makes sense. So you came out here. How old were you when you moved out?
I was 24, 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
40.
Okay.
Yeah.
40 is a great age, bro. 40 has been my favorite decade by far.
Has it?
Well, I mean, aside from the heart attack, but that's pretty good.
I mean, you're still here.
I'm still here. Yeah. A couple more years left of it.
Is it at all what you thought? You could say this about the 30s. Definitely now 40, like what you thought it was growing up when you were little.
Oh no, I remember my dad turning 40. I'm like, this motherfucker's old, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
When you look back at the age your parents were, like, I mean, I can, fuck, man, I'm 51. I'm like trying to remember like my parents at that age, and it's just like it's fucking crazy. But I just remember seeing people in their 40s when you were young, and we're like, yeah. Even like in PB, because I lived in PB for like 9 years when I was in the teams, and it's like one of those things. You'll see like a fucking 30-year-old or God forbid a 40-year-old, and you're like, what's this old motherfucker doing trying to fucking pick up chicks down here, you know? So it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Especially like the Comer or fucking Pennant.
Yeah.
That's where like the old people hang out or used to.
Part of it is when you're a kid,
out.
your parents always look older, but the other part is that generational thing where like now you look back on the pictures and like they legit looked older.
Yeah.
You know, and it's totally different. There's so many different options now, and I don't know why.
Yeah, people definitely either age different or they're just more aware. I think a lot of it is because of social media and shit. There's pictures of fucking literally everybody. Whereas before, I mean, you'd snap a picture and then, I mean, you'd have to physically take that shit to get developed. And then, I mean, who's going to see that one photo at a party, you know?
Have you ever seen those pictures of the dudes from like World War II and they were like teenagers and they're like 45 years old as teenagers? Part of it is just facial structures change over time.
It's fucking crazy.
It's really weird.
Like we were having that conversation. I can't remember if it was us that were talking about the Golden Girls that literally, I mean, they were in their like 50s, early 50s, or some of them were like the oldest lady, like she was
the oldest,
But they look 80.
Yeah, they look fucking old as fuck.
Yeah.
And they're in their 50s and playing like probably 60s, but it's fucking weird. And now you see pictures of like, I mean, I don't know who, like
Sylvester Stallone is like 75. And
crazy. Yeah. I mean, dude, Chuck Norris is in his fucking 90s.
Yeah, dude.
But I mean, you see pictures of chicks like Salma Hayek, dude.
Oh yeah. She's like 50 something.
There's chicks in their like 70s that are like just fucking smoke shows still, and you're like, that bitch is 70? Like Jesus Christ!
Did you guys see the new Brad Pitt F1 movie?
Not yet. I heard it's good.
What is he? He's I think 60.
Yeah, it's pretty
Dude
close
looks
to 50.
fucking great.
Yeah,
great. Like it's nuts, man.
it gives me hope, man. You know?
Did you have anything like? I didn't really feel any fundamental difference like when 30 at all.
Nah.
But did you feel any? I guess now it's kind of like I never listened to the outside noise of like what you should and shouldn't be doing at any age or any time. But I've that's kind of creeped in a little bit more. You know, you think like, fuck, I probably shouldn't do that. I shouldn't do this. It's mostly just like the inner voice telling me that. That was probably the loudest maybe at 40. Not that I listened to it entirely, but I don't know if that's a thing or not. You know?
I found that it gave me, I think, a background. All the shit that you hear growing up, like, you'll feel different when you're 30. You'll feel this. And now I'm like, in my 40s, I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You're just fucking, you just gave up.
Yeah.
You just decided that you're just not going to try anymore. And you're blaming it on your age.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you can choose to do whatever you want. You know, it's hard as fuck. I will say too, if you're not supplementing with something, whether that's TRT or HGH or peptides or whatever, because I've been working out the same.
Or even just vitamins.
Anything, dude.
Shit that makes you, normalize your shit.
Yeah. I've been working out the same amount of hard for almost my entire life since like 15. So that's like, 31 years now. The same level of difficulty all the time. And definitely I noticed diminishing results like late 30s.
Yeah.
You work just as hard with way less results. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna start to look at other long-term supplementation. My wife talked me into Botox when I turned 40 as well.
No shit.
I was like, it's gay. I don't want to fucking.
Did you get it in like your nutsack? Keep your balls. You heard of that shit before? They give you Botox in your fucking ball sack to keep your nuts from sweating.
Oh yeah,
From
that's
sweating?
The thing.
Yeah. From sweating.
I thought it was from sagging.
My buddy used to do it on the top of his head to keep it because he sweat. He was big
shit.
bald head, but he would get Botox in his head to keep it from sweating.
Dude, that is fucking
makes
crazy.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she talked me into it because I didn't know it goes away too.
Yeah,
because I thought I'm actually due for some now. but I didn't want to look like Mickey Rourke or something. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like, he's a super handsome guy, and then like he gets way too much work done. You're like, bro, it looked like a fucking.
You like
pumpkin.
can't even smile. You're like.
Yeah, it gets awkward. And then she showed me like before and after pictures, and the dude looks the same, just better. I was like, okay, I can. Now that I'm 40, I can try this.
Yeah.
And dude, it's been great. So I've been doing that for years, and I think it's more preventative than anything else too. that, and then all the other shit. But yeah, there's so many options these days, man. Like you can go as hard and as you want.
But it's probably also too is like obviously there's an aesthetic benefit when you're getting older and then getting on that, because I got into peptides a couple years ago. I follow the blood work, but it's also I'm just chasing feeling as best as possible. And I haven't had a friend start TRT and not say they just feel. Obviously the physical benefits that you see, but like they talked a lot about like their fogginess, like like brain fog.
Well, and your drive too.
Yeah,
you're actually motivated to do shit.
Yeah.
Because dude, like here, like a year ago, my doctor told me to just get off of it for like 6 months. Get off of fucking everything. Yeah. And dude, I did that shit, and I'm literally it'd just be like
slump.
Just sitting on the fucking couch, like, dude, you feel like doing fucking anything. It was like, dude.
Yeah, I did the same thing when Disney and I were trying to go through IVF.
Yeah,
and I had to go make deposits at the sperm bank.
Right.
So I had to get off TRT for I think it was about 6 months, and I didn't really notice it at first until I got back on it. I was like, oh my god, I didn't realize how much I had slowed down. I was just like, oh, I go to the gym, but I could nap instead. And
you lose a lot of motivation, and it's true too. Like they say, you're only as old as you fucking feel.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I've been battling this fucking bum knee for like shit. 99, I blew my knee out on a parachute jump, and literally I've had 8 knee surgeries. Fuck. And I've been going, I've been doing like fucking stem cells and all this fucking shit and cortisone shots and dude, I finally went to this one place and they gave me some shit, and it fucked my knee all up. Like my knee swelled up, and I thought it was infected, dude. I was like, great. I was like I was actually trying to work. I got that shit done. Like 3 weeks later, I'm in Amsterdam and fucking Saint-Tropez, fucking France, like doing a fucking protection EP gig.
Overseas while you're doing that?
Dude, my fucking legs were just killing me. I'm like, dude, if I had to fucking kick somebody in their fucking head right now, I'd be fucked, Yeah. I'd have to bite their ear off or something. But it gets what I was the point I was making was, dude, I felt, there were times I literally just felt like a fucking old man. Like I'd go to my daughter's, she cheers for a football team at high school. So she's doing all the cheerleading shit. And dude, I'm like walking down like the fucking bleachers, and my knee was just fucked.
Yeah.
And I literally just felt, feel like a feeble, like old fucking man right now.
Yeah.
And it literally took me like getting back on the test, strapping a fucking knee brace on and hitting the fucking gym,
dude, like
every day to where it's like, okay, like now I'm like starting to feel like a fucking man again, and not like some feeble old man that literally I'm like take one misstep and I feel like my knee's gonna fucking slip out from under me. I'm gonna be like rolling on the fucking ground. You know,
the one thing that from the heart attack and the recovery, because the heart attack was fine, the recovery, but when they put that garden hose in my femoral artery, that like it was hard to move around. I couldn't walk more than like 50 yards, something like that.
Yeah.
And dude, I haven't been like injured in a long time. I hurt my hand and shit, but it was never like, I always had I felt 100%, just missing certain parts.
Yeah.
This is the first time I felt like not dangerous.
Yeah.
And dude, that's a
big social
scary feeling.
To
feel not dangerous anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't like how this fucking feels, man.
Yeah.
That was a big thing.
That was a big one too with me. You literally get to a point where it's like, dude, you literally get jumped by some fucking 16-year-old punk and like kicks you in my fucking leg. I'm like, you're like, fuck, man, I gotta do something about this. And luckily, going to Texas, doing a gig down there, a job that I do, and one of fucking Rogan's guys hooked me up with some stem cells.
Oh, sweet. And that helped a lot?
Yeah, it helped a shit ton. Cool. And like he was telling me, he goes, well, he told me basically what they did to my knee prior, because when I went into this other place, they thought they were going to inject both knees. And I was like, no, it's just my left knee. And they're like, oh, okay, well, maybe we'll just take everything and put it in that one. And so the doctor down there was like, no, man, they overfilled the fucking capsule. Oh. And now I got like this fucking synovial fucking cyst,
like a cyst,
on the side of my knee now, to where a bunch of that shit squirted out.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, thanks.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, he gave me like, dude, just a small little needle. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, dude, they were using a needle like this fucking long. I showed him a video.
God damn.
And he was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
and it's like one of those things, you go to a place that's known for certain shit, and you trust these people with your fucking well-being. Not to say they're in there maliciously trying to fuck people up, but
Well,
Yeah.
there's
certain shit that
Yeah.
you shouldn't do.
Yeah,
Like,
my dad has a good joke. He's got a lot of dad jokes, only one of which is funny. But he's also a doctor. He's got this joke. He's like, what do you call the person who graduates last in medical school?
yeah, doctor.
Yeah. Fuck, man. You never know who you're getting, dude. You got to research your people. But
Yeah.
I've been going through, Coda's been going to game day for a while, too.
I go there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Dr.
Dude.
Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I go to Lemke in Carlsbad. Dude, they're phenomenal, man. They've been hooking it up for a while. Super comfortable. They're super funny. Like, this is a very personable experience, and like it's just nice to go in someplace where like I trust them. We have a good relationship. We talk about stuff. We talk about stuff openly, and they're like, "Hey, there's no like, oh, you're doing that. You can't do it. Like, hey, you can do this. However, here's the drawbacks.
Yeah.
Here's some alternatives, and then you get to kind of pick and choose, like, you know, what you want to do, but." It's been really good, man. I really appreciate having somebody that I can go to, like, I can chat with that stuff.
Yeah,
about.
For sure. Dude, I've seen a couple of your posts about it specific, and I think it helps pushing that out so other people see, because I think there's still like a stigma around
Oh, totally.
doing it or
Yeah.
not. I'm like, okay, follow the stigma and feel like shit,
Right.
or like feel great.
I think people got to ask themselves, like, who the fuck are you cheating? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, if you're in a professional sport like MMA or something, or you're competing with
For
somebody
sure.
one-on-one, absolutely, because it is an advantage, you know?
Yeah,
yeah.
It is an unfair
Yeah.
advantage.
Yeah.
But if you're not competing against anybody but an average
You're
version of
competing
yourself.
against yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I'll cheat that motherfucker every day of the
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah.
And what's good, like with game day and any of these places, they're doing it right. They're following your blood work too. So if you're
Yeah.
getting regular blood work, like you only will gain from that. Even if you don't, like, you know, they'll tell you should or shouldn't. You're kind of at the level, like I agree with you. They're very supportive, like whichever direction. But at the end of the day, like getting your blood work drawn regularly is probably going to fucking benefit you no matter
Yeah.
what you're doing.
There's nothing bad.
Yeah.
that can
Yeah,
come
so
from that.
everyone should do that. You probably catch some shit before it happens.
That was
you know.
that was a huge one for me, because I've been on TRT since like 2015, and I went to this brain clinic down in Texas, where they were basically bringing all these soft guys down there and trying to figure out why like dudes were having sleep disorders
Oh, yeah.
and all this fucking shit, and they run all their fucking numbers. Dude, my test was at like 31.
Dang, dude.
Yeah.
You might
I
as
was
well-
like, basically, I was a chick.
You might as well drive a Subaru at that point,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, and yeah, but dude, I had like low IGF-1 levels. My vitamin D levels were like just non-existent. I mean, just all this fucking shit. And what they were trying to kind of prove or disprove was this cortisol like theory that they had. So basically, like you spit in this tube like 3 times a day, and they were testing your bunch of different hormone levels, because what they hypothesized was that because all these soft guys, you go to bed and you sit there and stare at the fucking ceiling. Dudes are fucking insomniacs, and they were right, was that because we'd operated in the dark for so many fucking years, and you're doing shit with night vision, and you're constantly, your adrenaline's fucking spiking, doing all this fucking training, and then into the fucking battle space. And basically they were saying like the highest your hormone levels are supposed to be is first thing in the morning. That's kind of what wakes you up with your circadian rhythm and all that shit, and
So you're all
why
out
you
of
wake
whack.
up with a fucking stiffy and everything. So, and then it just trickles down towards the end of the night, and then when it's low, that's kind of okay. Now I get tired. Well, what was happening is dudes, cortisol and a bunch of other hormones were spiking like soon after sunset, and that's what was keeping people from
I bet a lot
like
of night
sleeping and
shift
shit.
people have that problem too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
first responders, probably firemen, cops, in the same.
Yeah.
It was the same cycle.
Yeah.
Probably more stress.
Well,
to be
yeah, and it's
honest.
hard to maintain that fucking level too. It's like people that work night shift and then there's a weekend. It's like, well, fuck,
Yeah, you got to get somebody who really knows their shit. Like I was talking with TCAV, and he mentioned, where'd it go?
What did he mention?
Shit, I'm trying to look it up. Shit, maybe he DM'd it to me, but I was trying to remember the chick's name. So I obviously talked about the heart attack on one of the episodes, and then this girl that he knows is a doctor who specializes in like cardiac. I'm gonna fuck up this name. It's so stupid, but cardiologist, I think.
Yeah, nailed it.
Yeah, there you go. Done. But not in like but she's really open to like on the cutting edge, like what's working, what's not working, challenging the meds and seeing like, hey, what is really providing a benefit. So she reached out to TCAV and she's like, hey, Ryan, you should probably get him this message. And she left him like a 3.5-minute message through him about how statins are like a major issue. So now I gotta, but it's really opened my eyes up to like, hey, I'm going to a good hospital. These are great doctors.
Sure.
But then I'm like somebody who is really, really deep into it and is looking deep diving into all the data, says like, hey, here's a piece of information that is not necessarily against common medical practice, but there's some questionable things. And I really realized that you really have to advocate for yourself and figure out what your plan is. And then it helps having these people who are specialists in these areas that can really kind of guide you. So that's the next thing I'm going to do is kind of reach out to her, have a conversation with her and figure out what I'm fucking up. Because not to make this whole thing about fucking hearts and 40-year-olds, whatever, but it's like, the scary part to me is that I don't know why it happened. Because if it was like, one thing, I'm like, okay, I can stop doing that one thing. Yeah. But they're like, we don't know why. I'm like, well, fuck.
And that's the fucked up thing too is a doctor who hasn't done a deep dive on like, say, your blood work and shit, like you were saying. Because what I was getting to before was I went to a couple different clinics around here for tea. And one specifically was, I just felt like a number. Just like, literally come in like, well, check your shit in a year. I'm like, in a year?
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, like, should you be doing this like every like 3 or 4 fucking months? And I just felt like, it was like, I'm getting a product from them, but like I didn't really feel like they had my best interest,
Yeah, and that's the difference,
and
man.
that's the thing too, like with your heart, and somebody just comes in and they're like, 40. What are you, 47?
47, yeah.
So 47-year-old, complains of heart pain, blah, 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 had 2 stents. But, right off the bat, your fucking layman is going to go, yep, they need to cut out all, saturated fats and they need to do this. And then, like, when they're saying, like, they need to eat healthy. And he's like, motherfucker, like, I can't eat any fucking healthier.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like shit. It's like your talking point from, like, any of your bullshit. They're like, well, avoid butter and you need to get rid of this.
Exactly.
And it's like
they're reading off a script.
Like, no, dude. Like, how about you actually look at my shit and then formulate a plan instead of just blowing smoke up my ass.
It was funny. Well, this is the last thing, and then we'll get sidetracking too much. We'll get back to
I'm loving the sidetrack because I was going to add to it.
When I first went to the hospital, dude, the doctors are kind of these old doctors. I felt like I was my dad was a doctor. Well, he is, but I felt like it was. They were really like fatherly, and the guy sat me down. His hand, you really need to make changes in your life. I'm like, what are you talking about, bro?
Yeah,
dude,
you don't even know me, asshole.
Their demeanor a couple days later totally changed, and I found out. I realized they just thought I was on fucking coke for 3 days straight, and came in like, man. This fucking guy's in shape, comes in the heart attack for sure, just blowing coke all weekend, because I think it was a Sunday I came in, for sure. And then they did all the tests, and they're like, wait a minute.
Well, toxicology came back clean.
I wasn't even drinking the day before. And they're like, wow, he's actually not on anything. And their demeanor totally changed.
They're like checking between your fingers and toes for like track marks and shit. Like, all right, where are they, motherfucker?
It was pretty funny to watch them go from like, you really need to change. You're like, hey, man, I wish we could help you, but we just don't know.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
That's terrifying. Anytime it's
I don't know which is worse.
I think the unknown's the biggest anxiety spike. Like, what the fuck is it? Especially with something that you should be able to pinpoint it. That's crazy.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I never thought I was going to die, but the one thing when I realized, like, oh, maybe I will die, whatever. It wasn't like I didn't really have any regrets because I feel like I'm happy with the choices that I've made. But I did think, fuck, I haven't like left everybody. There's conversations I've left unsaid. There's people that I would like to have closure with, have one last conversation with. There's I would like to leave.
Hey, you.
Some of it's that.
Fuck you.
Some of it's that for sure. And then, you know, wanting to leave Disney in a better position where it's like, hey, you're set up. We have life insurance, obviously, but it's like, and then our clients too. Like our clients really depend on all this sort of shit.
Yeah.
It turns out that everything was already set, but I'm like, that was the only thing I was worried about is like, who am I leaving? Who am I fucking over by checking out early? You know?
Yeah, dude, I just heard this amazing quote. You probably heard. It's when you're healthy, you have a million problems. When your health goes, you only have one problem.
Yeah,
like that's so fucking true.
Yeah,
very true.
Right?
Yeah. All right. So let's get back to you. This is a long sidetrack. Sorry,
dude. That's a good tangent. Before we get off of it too, and I don't know if Disney's heard of this. I've had 2 female friends like recently talking about this, but they've committed. One in particular is doing like a testosterone cream because she got her blood work done, and it's a woman thing too. If you heard her, and I cannot like hearing her talk about how much, and she's like 2 or 3 months into it, how incredible she feels. All things like her sleep, her brain fog, her just over, and she's a 5-day a week. She's in great shape, works out, 34 years old, but she has been like battling with shit for a couple years. And who'd ever think? And you talk about stigma for a guy.
Yeah.
Then you as a woman, you say, oh yeah, I'm doing testosterone.
Testosterone.
If you hear her talk about it, she is like through the roof. She's like, I want every woman to know about this.
I think that's what it takes, though, man. It takes people having open, honest conversations about it. And like, hey, here's what I thought. Here's what I was right about. Here's what I was wrong about. And here's my experience now. And take it for what it's worth. I'm not selling anything. It's just like, this is the reality of it. And Game Day is not a sponsor of ours. I mean, they hook me up with like, you know, free stuff, but I'm not like, that they're not sponsoring the show.
Yeah,
I'm happy to pay anyway. You know, it's not like wink. But I think, and also too, when we do take on sponsors, because we've talked about this, like different sponsors, like we've had people come on like, we want to pay you this amount of money to like do like the health insurance shit. I'm like, bro, I don't give a fuck about. I'm not gonna talk about health insurance. I don't care about it. So
for sure.
When we do sponsor
I'll
stuff,
talk about that shit.
That's kind of a sweet spot for you guys too, right? You don't want to spam the audience because you'll lose audience.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we just talk about shit that we're actually using and that we think is useful or entertaining or interesting for us.
Yeah.
But we still don't have any sponsors. So
yeah.
Aside from our Black Site members and our Patreon members, thank you.
Industry thread works.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I'm gonna turn the AC on. It's getting a little hot in here.
Yeah, a little warm.
You know how many fucking hoodies we have in this warehouse? I'm like, you don't need to turn the heater on. Take one of the 1,000 hoodies we have and put it on.
Dude, my wife does that shit, dude. Like she'll be like, oh my God, like, why's the AC on? I'm like, because it's fucking hot outside. And then like, you know, she'll be cold. She'll be like, oh, I better turn the heat on. I'm like, go put some fucking clothes on, first of all. Like walk around, you know, fucking not naked, but you know, it's like half the time she's wearing like fucking sweatshirts and shit anyway.
Might be a trade-off. You find the right temperature.
Yeah, I'm like,
what's the temperature of a bikini?
right?
Oh, that's good.
So you moved to PB from Arizona. What was your first kind of venture into entrepreneurship, or because what was your degree in from ASU?
Yeah, so it was supply chain management. So
okay.
I was in their business school, yeah. And this is like only people that have known me for a long time know my first business was a limo bus. We had a limo bus company. And
oh shit.
Yeah. This was 2011. Me and one of the guys I moved here with, who ended up being my partner for almost 10 years right up until COVID. We both worked. I was in sales. He worked in like hospitality. He was working at Stingery on the weekend. And another job. And that's when you saw buses. You remember, like buses everywhere. Yeah. And so he kind of came to me. He's like, dude, I know our club contracts these buses and pays them every weekend, which they do. He's like, we should look into it because I know I could get them to use our service if we go get a bus. So we went on Craigslist again.
Smart.
Yeah, and we found a 25 passenger bus party bus already done. It was like a 1997. Most of the buses you see back then, they were like 80s, 90s, maybe 2000s. Just they've been fully remodeled, refurbished. And we bought it with just like, it was actually the cash I had. It was like $15,000. knew nothing. Like, and dude, the best stories looking back are always from like my early business days, because you weren't intentionally doing shit wrong. You just didn't know better. And we also didn't know like, oh, it's cool, fucking fun industry. That's what everybody thought. But like, we had to follow all the same laws as like MTS and the city buses, annual inspections. We had to work with the CHP, all that. We knew none of this. We were like, dude, jump and figure out the parachute.
A couple bros in a bus, dude.
And we bought it, and he was not wrong. Like, we got them to use us, but we bought it from a guy who owned he had a bunch of limousines, sedans, and then he had like 8 or 9 party buses. So he just wanted to sell one, I think, just to liquidate. So we bought it from him, and he was actually great. He gave us some advice. He let us store the bus there. We could kind of use his drivers because we didn't know, like, where do we hire?
That's cool. He wasn't like looking at you guys as competition.
No, he was really cool, and he had so many vehicles. Well, we come to find out, he did really good keeping his limos and those booked. He was having a hard time with the buses. So we kept that thing going, this little 25 passenger. And within like 5 or 6 months, I came back to him like, dude, 1, it's busy already. 2, we need one of these big boys, like the big 50 passengers you see out there. And he had 3 or 4 of them. So I talked him into like a self-financing just for this. I'm like, hey, it was like prom season. So I'm like, I know we'll pay you back. And like, I think we did like a 3-month note, whatever we bought it for. And he was happy to do it. So we bought that bus. And then, cause I remember looking back on the story, it was less than a year in, he then came to us and he's like, we were farming him so much business that we couldn't, like, we had our buses booked and we were farming him jobs to be like, dude, will you take this? And he came to us, he's like, dude, you guys clearly have found out a lane to keep these buses going. Why don't I be your bank and self-finance, you buy the whole fleet? Which is fucking wild. And we were yes man to everything back then. And
that's how you got to be in the beginning. Dude.
And I also knew he also kind of structured it as I'll help you, I'll consult you. Cause I also kind of did a little looking around the industry, and like, it put us like as the number 2 largest fleet in San Diego. 2 guys who don't know shit.
Holy shit, that's awesome.
That's crazy.
And so I took him up on that, and he said, hey, you can have access to my mechanic. You can park all the buses here. If you want to use some of the drivers, you can. If you don't, because like, it's a specific type of license you have to have, a commercial license. And just, you can have a commercial license and you couldn't drive these buses. Like, they're older. They're like, it's a train. So we said yes, and he financed it for 3 years. And so like overnight, we were now like one of the biggest fleets in San Diego. And we did it. Like, we were really good at keeping them busy. And we were just kind of learning on the fly. We did get into some jams. We had like some of the most chaotic stories are from back then, but that was the first business. And we ran that until maybe 2014 or 15. And fortunately we started an agency that took off at the same time. And like, dude, running a party bus business for your first business was just, it was fun for the experience and fun now looking back, but it, like, the liability and just, I always describe it to people, I'm like, dude, 1, it's a bar on wheels. People are drinking. They're legally allowed to drink. But 2, imagine you give your keys to someone for the weekend and say, hey, you can borrow it. You're a stress ball, and that's just your car. Like, now I got 8 buses out with 8 drivers and 50 people drinking Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we ended up getting all the club contracts. So like, not only Singerie, but like Hard Rock, they were shuttling people from SDSU, PB, UCSD, and we snatched up all of them. So like, but we also knew Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we had locked, like those were always leaving at 9 p.m., always coming back. So we had guaranteed business. And yeah, we fucking hustled.
What were some crazy stories about that? Because I imagine if you have 8 buses going out 3 days for a weekend, like, you got to know something's going to get fucked up. Like, the story you have on Monday is like,
exactly.
What the fuck happened now?
I was going to say the same shit.
It would be weird if nothing happened.
It's like Monday through Wednesday, you're definitely playing catch up. Anywhere from windows busted out to fucking shit ripped out. I mean, dude, we used to get in van fights in the fucking team, and you'd have the entire fucking headliner just ripped out of shit. So I can only imagine what some of these fucking college students are doing to your bus, to shit that's not theirs,
Yeah, we had plenty of those. Like, we actually had one that kind of went to court because a kid hit another kid with a bottle of like vodka across the head, and it went to court. A driver had to go in. We had a lot of those.
Jesus.
But by far, dude, not even just for that business, but in general, we had a guy we hired, and we did all the background checks out, make sure their commercial license active, and we hired this guy who was probably in his early 50s. Spotless record. We actually checked his references. He was driving for another transportation company during the week, so he was like a a daytime like corporate driver, and they gave him a good reference. And then he'd drive the bus on the weekend for us at night and made good money. He was like his second or third weekend in, and we started him on one of the smaller buses. And we're like, all right, dude, you can drive one of these big ones this weekend. And it should have been a fucking red flag when he did this. We had a guy who was like the supervisor, who was kind of like dispatching when they were out on the buses, like, I'm here, I just made my drop. Like, he was kind of the point person. And he specifically reached out. He had a job that night that was paying cash. And he said, hey, I just dropped the group. They're good. I'm staged nearby. And he said, like, but don't worry, I got the cash. You can trust me. He like said something weird, like there's no trust. Like, it's a fucking job. Like, you turn in the cat, like, went over our heads. And so he finishes the job. And on occasion, we would let certain drivers, if they were driving like till 2, 3 a.m. and their house was far, sometimes we'd be like, hey, if you just want to take the bus after you drop home and it's more convenient, instead of going back to the bus lot, getting your car, going home. And I can't remember if we did or did not allow it, but he knew that it was allowed.
Yeah.
And I remember it was Sunday, so it was after a full Saturday night, and it was Sunday Easter, that our supervisor gets in there Sunday morning just to do the normal inspection of the buses. And he's like, yo, Don's bus is missing. I'm like, oh, he probably just took it home. Cool. It's happened before. And so he calls. He was living with a girlfriend at the time. This man's in his 50s. She's like, no, he's not here. He didn't come home last night. Then we have oh, fuck. So then we all turn into like me, my partner, and Patrick, who was our supervisor. We just start like pounding pavement. We actually went to like her house to say like, where would he be? Why is he not picking up his phone? Now at this point, it's like middle of the day, the next day. Like, he hasn't come back yet. We are finding like, she fortunately shared some like background on him. He did have some substance abuse issues, and she shared that he's done something similar to this before.
Check Vegas.
Yeah. No, we're literally like, fuck, did he cross the border? And so we're kind of spazzing out, and he's also got about $1,000 cash on him. So $1,000 cash. Now you got wheels, and you got a substance. Yeah. So we were checking out. Like, someone told us, the Holiday Inn off the 8 in Point Loma, and like we were basically checking the drug spots. Like, where do drug deals go down? And we were about to hang it up, and we also we learned then, you can't legally enforce. I can't call the cops because a commercial driver has 24 hours of possession before it's considered stolen.
Right.
So we couldn't even report it. They won't take you. So she let us know he knew that. He knew that part of the law. So we were like, sun's going down. Like, dude, we fucking tried everything.
Give him 24 hours.
Yeah. But we were hoping like, okay, he knows and he's going to bring it back. And then Patrick, we all went home, sun's down, and Patrick calls us. Like, we just sat down on our couch. We're fucking like, we're calling it a wash. And he's like, hey, I checked one more spot. It was like, dude, not Golden Hill, but like 30th, like kind of the fucking rough part outside of downtown. He's like, he's here. He was at the pump. He was spending his last like $40 to fill it up. He says he was going back, and he had like meth pipes or something, and they're in a hooker in the back. Like, she's back there. And Pat was fucking like 5'6", 150 pounds, soaking wet, but he was a fucking maniac.
Fucking
like
scrapper.
And he was also like in his 50s too, but he was just he was a scrapper. He walked up. The guy didn't push back. He's literally like, get the fuck out. And the guy took the girl and just started walking up the road. And he said, he's like, Pat, I swear I was gassing up and I was taking it back to the lot. This is like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
So we get in our cars, we fly down there. We didn't catch him in time. It's probably good because me or my partner probably would have gone off the handles. But yeah, dude, we were fortunate. Like, we got the bus back, other than like some shit he left in there.
Yeah.
Nothing like was damaged, or we spent 24 hours like heads.
But he took the cash.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Cash all gone.
Oh yeah.
Cash was gone.
Using it for Mike's fuck shack for.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Don's fuck shack.
Yeah. But we did call his other job the next day. 'Cause I'm like, dude, so this doesn't happen to anybody else. I'm like, hey, just want to let you know this is what this fucking guy did. I would want to know that as a business owner. Like, this guy just went on a fucking spree for the last 24 hours, spent all our cash, took our bus as his own. We were grateful that nothing worse happened, but still, like,
Yeah. Here's a heads up.
Yeah. So yeah, they don't give you that prep when you're starting a business for shit like that,
Dude, yeah. Employees are tough, man. They're like the best thing and the worst thing about business. It's when you get some good ones, man, it feels like you're running all cylinders and they really like make you better. And dude, there's so many positives to it, but you get those wrong people, dude. And it's just like being on a team with the wrong people. Like, they're just I don't want to say the word toxic. I think that's overused, but they're definitely like the fucking turd in the punch bowl, man.
Well,
They're
dudes have hiccups too, you know. Like I've known several team guys that they're like, you know, it's great fucking dudes. It's like, you know, break in case of war, break glass in case of war, and their dudes are just, you know, a lot of Foxtrot platoon that got disbanded. Like we were that way. We were like, dude, party hardcore, operate hardcore, and yeah, we're gonna get in trouble, and we're probably gonna break some shit, but overall we're good, you know. But there's team guys like that too. Like there's a guy had a little bit of a gambling problem who habitually borrowed money from dudes, and he kind of got his pee-pee slapped a couple times for, you know, borrowing money from people. And then there's other times when he was put in charge of certain things that was very heavily cash involved, like the fucking
the platoon fund type thing.
Well, that too, and that's a different guy. But but you know, like when you have like 3 platoons, they go out to an island and they all pool their money, and you have a cook.
Yeah.
So they give the money to like one guy to like do all the shopping. Well, they gave the money to the guy, and the guy didn't wind up quite giving the money to the cook.
Can't have grilled cheese sandwiches.
He's like, I'm gonna just go to Vegas for the weekend with like a grip of fucking 3 platoons worth of, you know. I mean, I don't know how much. It's probably like, fuck, man.
Probably $3 to $5 grand.
Oh, at least. Yeah.
Damn.
Fuck, man.
And then comes back and is like, sorry, I blew it all. You're like, well, of course you fucking blew it all, you fucking moron.
Dude,
you've got a gambling problem.
and it's such a bummer because I feel like half the reason I got into business or starting a business because I believe in people. I wanted to create a good environment for people to work at, like legitimately. But that's changed for sure over the last 15 years. And you probably had this happen too. Like we're in the worst state for it too, as far as like employee relationships and what you can and cannot do.
Yeah.
Is we're now, and I'm okay saying this, it doesn't sound like I'm the fucking devil. We're trying as best as possible to minimize how many people we bring on, whether it's like we just invested in some more equipment, automation, other shit. Like I still believe in people, but I'm sorry, you get burned enough, like it will change you. And that's just the nature of the business. I'm like, dude, all these people, you might be short-term winning, but I don't think, like as a small business owner, and I'm speaking only in California, it's hard to run the way that people love working for a small business. You just can't do it anymore because you're too exposed.
You can't, like you can't help a person out because even like say because we've bought our employees cars before. I mean, this is not a big car basically, but we've helped them out like with money, with all this stuff. Like even we fired a guy, but I felt bad for him. So I gave him all the money I had in my pocket because he was stealing from us. I had to fire him, but I felt bad for him, and so I gave him all the money in my pocket and still fired him. I'm like,
is this Mikey Sowers?
No,
I'm just fucking with you.
I love Mikey, but dude, it came to realization that like people are only as faithful as their options, and if they have the opportunity to fuck you over, it's a rare person, especially employee, that won't take that opportunity. So we've had some employees that are great, man. Like Jacob runs our warehouse, phenomenal dude. Brooklyn is our director of operations, amazing. We're really fortunate that we've had those people, but they stay on for years. We've also had other people that like, dude, within a few days, fuck, man, they're just terrible. But like the red flags, it's really rare that you see a red flag the first time you see it. Looking back, you're like, okay, totally. I get it. But you can only see the red flags in the rearview mirror because your whole windshield, when you're entrepreneur, your whole windshield is rose colored, so you don't see the fucking red flags.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so it's hard, but I think we've gotten better at that over the years because we just try not to get burned in the same ways. But it's tough too because you get burned one way and then you want to help somebody out, but it's the same situation. You're like, fuck, man, like I want to help you, but how do I know that you're not gonna totally fuck me after I extend this?
You don't know.
Yeah, and you got to ride that line, and it's tough, especially in California, because like, dude, it's a whole different operating realm than most of the other states, and I know what it's meant to do. It's meant to keep like predatory capitalism from taking advantage of workers. 100% get that, but they've gone so far out of their way to make things so litigious that if you have good intentions, you're almost handicapped. You're almost hands are tied where you can't do the good things you want to do.
Because it's like these tenant laws.
Yeah.
And now you have people coming in, they get an Airbnb for the weekend, and they're like, you know what? I'm not checking out. I live here now. And they're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the law
Yeah,
protects
the law's
that.
like,
It's
sorry,
crazy.
Yeah.
you give them 30 days. They're like, how about I give them a couple of pipe hitters with some baseball bats that I know, go in there and drag these motherfuckers out of the house
Yeah.
and beat them within an inch of their life.
There are other options.
And then I'm the asshole.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's
yeah.
like, what did you think was going to happen? You're living in someone's house that you didn't pay for.
Yeah, and then
You
they
know?
get mad about it, and they feel all righteous about
Yeah.
it. It's tough, man. It's a fine line to walk.
And not to say that's something that's going on with like employees and shit like that, but I see how that can kind of migrate one way or another, especially with the way the laws are. Like, well, now all of a sudden you have to pay this dude $25 to fry a burger and take care of the counter.
Yeah,
And now people feel like they're entitled to a level of cash.
a lot of the money doesn't even go to them either.
Yeah.
California, it's like 7.5% payroll tax.
Yeah.
It just goes straight to California. So, like, I would love to be able to pay that money because we're paying it either way.
Yeah.
I would much rather go to our employee.
Yeah.
But no, if it goes to fucking some bums on the street and their fucking crack habit or
Yeah,
whatever
it's
it is.
pretty fucking crazy. And then, you know, you have a whole level of, we're like, well, fuck it. I'll just automate it. I'll have an iPad on the counter
Yeah.
and people can order their
and then
own
nobody
shit.
has a job.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's
But
it's
now,
a tough line to
because
walk.
you did that with your business, now you're a
an
fucking asshole. You're like, well,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
What do I do?
I think that's where we're in right now.
Yeah.
And I think if you sat down every business owner, they'd probably go lean on the side of like, I'm going to do that, you know, meaning
Yeah.
like commit to automation, commit to that technology. I would, and that sounds heartless, but like you also don't know the last 15 years. Like if you guys
Yeah.
live through that, like,
Yeah.
and that the burns, it'll fucking change you,
Yeah.
man. And I miss like when you hear someone say that's working for you, like, oh, it doesn't feel too corporate-y working here. That's great. That's a small business. That's how the environment should be. But
Yeah.
now it's like you can't do that as the owner. Like it has to be bound by corporate policies. Then you can hopefully create that culture. But you have to now, if you're a small business owner and you're not following like the same corporate policies that the big boys are, you're exposed. That's the
Yeah.
reality, you know? So you
Yeah.
have to do all that shit.
Yeah,
But-
it's really tough. Like I see what Disney deals with because she's good at paperwork. Thank God she's good because we've had a few instances where some ex-employee is trying to sue for whatever the fuck and like thank
Hostile
God,
work environment.
all kinds of shit, bro. Like whatever they think they can get away with.
Yeah.
Because partly is they talk to one of these attorneys that is trying to take a case.
Specializes in that
Bingo.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just try to shake you down. We've had this happen a few times, but they're like, well, send us all the shit, and we're like, okay. So we have all the paperwork, because most people don't. So we hand it to them, like, hey, this is all documented, all the shit, and they drop the case because it's less than 50-50 chance they're going to win.
Yeah.
So they just don't take it because they're only contingency because
Yeah.
they don't.
And they're only
not
getting paid
hired.
if they win.
Exactly.
You know?
So as soon as you make it like where they're probably not going to win, the case goes away.
Dude, I've talked about that a lot. That's the big piece is now that there are law firms that are targeting, they're going after employees, be like, hey, are they doing this? Are they doing
Oh,
that? If they're not,
straight predatory.
Yeah, and using your example of the guy like who's the cook getting paid $25 an hour, a major one in like we are in hospitality. We work with a lot of restaurants. Like right now, they are just getting hit with meal breaks. Like you are required to give a 30-minute meal break within the window, and if it's at 29, like literally if it's a minute less, and they have records of that, you're slapped. Like and these lawyers know, like, hey, are you getting proper meal breaks? Let me see your meal break logs. It's and they're going after restaurants, and it's an unwinnable case for the
Yeah.
restaurant. And the restaurant should be like, it might be $5,000, but they're settling out in these. So it's the lawyers bringing the case to them.
Yeah.
Kind of like, you know,
And
like,
the lawyers are getting 4 of that 5,000 probably.
Oh,
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
like, hey, here's $1,000.
Yeah, and the employee is just like, well, somebody's gonna get me an extra $800, and I kind of fuck over my employee or my employer, but it's $800.
Yeah.
They'll take it. Man.
Yeah,
A lot of them
yeah.
will take it. It's very frustrating to deal with because then you're like, we've had this happen before where we had one employee, really good employee, like she was really good, and then she wanted to move on and do something else. So we're like, dude, totally, like take time off, go to your interviews, like we'll support you, give you references, like whatever you need, you know, just give us like, because she was one of our main employees, like just give us a couple weeks where we can, you know, have you train the new person and all this stuff. And she fucking came back and she was all excited. She's like, oh, I got this job being an assistant manager or some like local fucking
Arby's.
yeah, something like that. It was some local fucking coffee shop in fucking Hillcrest or something. And And she's like, well, I
Was it Dropkick?
she's like, well,
Sorry, bro.
she's like, yeah, they told me that they really need me right away, and I don't want to screw them over, so I'm just leaving now, and I'm not going to be here. I'm like, hold on a second. You don't even know these people. We've helped you and hooked you up so many ways, and we've really gone out of our way to help you, and you're fucking us so that you don't fuck them.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the? And she got like, and I wasn't, adversarial about it. I was just like asking her questions, like, you realize like you by helping them, you're fucking us, right?
Yeah.
I didn't say that word, but I'm like, and she's like, and she got all like defensive.
Why are
about
you
it.
being an asshole?
Totally.
You're like,
Yeah,
for
I'm
sure.
like, but they have a totally different perspective on it, and they just don't understand what it's like to be in the.
You
in the
knew I
drive-thru.
was leaving. We're like,
Yeah, we're trying to help you,
And,
but don't
yes.
fuck us on the way out. Yeah, it's just little stuff like that, man. And then another employee we bought a fucking car for and helped her out with a ton of shit. And then she's one of the ones that tried to fucking sue us when she left. I'm like,
Dude.
Jesus Christ, bro.
Yeah.
So it's hard to maintain this like happy.
well, I wanted a
smile, be happy
Lamborghini.
about it.
Yeah.
I wanted a Lamborghini, and you got me a Yugo.
Right?
Okay, well,
Good
would
stuff,
you
dude.
from your first business to now, if someone asks you why you do it, is your answer completely different?
I think the big picture, it stayed the same. I want freedom and autonomy. I want to be able to do the things I want to do and have the experiences I want to have in life. Without answering to people that I don't agree with. And that was a big thing I hated in the military, was being fucking told what to do by fucking stupid people.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, dude, I don't want to do that. I'd rather sink or swim by my own hand.
Yeah.
So that hasn't changed. Learned a lot of lessons, made a lot of mistakes, obviously, but I think the main thing is just try not to make the same mistakes twice. And then
For
just
sure.
keep going.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Picture time.
I always like trying. We get done with one of these, and we're like, "Fuck, man, we didn't take any fucking pictures."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but yeah. So what? Ultimately, you wound up selling the whole fleet of vehicles.
Yeah. Well, we had actually started because all of our customers' accounts were a lot of the clubs and hotels and whatnot downtown, and this was before social media took off.
Yeah.
I don't remember who the first one was, but we started to notice they started identifying us as like a marketing firm because we were also bringing them 50 people in rotation. So we started getting reached out being like, hey, can you bring them here? Can you bring them here? And then like other events company would be like, hey, they'd see us out there because we were very front and center with our social media, and they just thought that we were just we were a marketing firm. So we were like, wait
Maybe
a second,
should be a marketing firm.
we got something here. Yeah. And we also knew that's before, this was 2012, 13. So social media was kind of taking off. We just positioned it to our customers. Like, would you want us to run basically pay us something for dropping these people off plus some, and it got us deeper in bed with them. So we knew they weren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And that just like snowballed. And so we actually, she's actually a partner in Dropkick now, Samantha. She was like a friend who was kind of helping us out, and she was at the time going to be relocated with her company to DC, and she didn't want to go, but she was in that world. And we said, hey, we're getting some demand for marketing. We don't know what the fuck we're doing either. Like, this is your shit. I know you don't want to go to DC. Like, do you want to come head this for us? And like, we had really good accounts teed up, and that took off. And we quickly learned, like, dude, we ain't getting sued by people. We don't got drunks running around. We don't got guys picking up hookers with our cash. Yeah. And like, it's a great margin. So we kind of went all in on that. And then we just started like downsizing the fleet, and like divine timing. We didn't see it coming. That's when Uber, Lyft, all that started to like take off too.
Yeah.
So people's value they'd put on these buses was not as much. And it wasn't like before. It was convenient. Like, I got no way to get from PB to down. I can drink and get in a bus and get a return ride home. Like, and they maybe paid $10. Some of them were free.
Yeah, because you used to have to call a cab, literally call a cab, and it was hit or miss if they'd even fucking show up.
Yeah. So that was like, we were the shuttle, and like once Uber and Lyft started taking off, like that's way more convenient. Typically, if you split it in a pool of people, it's great. You can still have a drink on there. So we definitely caught some luck on downsizing at the time, and eventually sold each bus off, and some here, some out of state, and went all in on the agency. So
Smart.
Nice.
Yeah, it was great.
So what was like your model? You basically advertise 50 people showing up at, say, like downtown or
we
doing
did
a pub crawl or.
Yeah, and I probably like agency. It was like all encompassing because we did marketing for these customers, but we also started really getting into event production.
Oh, right on.
So we knew they had this hub of all these buses. So if we were to put together a special event or a recurring event, we got a good database of people we could steer towards them.
Right.
And we could also charge these venues a whole lot more for being like, hey, we want this retainer, and that's how it worked. And
that
so
makes more sense.
It launched the whole event side. We were doing up until COVID, we were doing 150 to 200 events a year.
Wow.
So yeah, it definitely like it was springboarding on like as we grew like our business, it was definitely springboarding on the one we were building prior.
Yeah.
And yeah, we ran that till COVID.
Damn.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's awesome.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it makes sense to do that. That's kind of all the stuff that I've done is like when you build a business, it's hard as fuck, you know nothing. Mm-hmm. You take those lessons, you're like, okay, this is really difficult. What have I learned from this that I want to do and don't want to do? And you chop the things you don't want to do and you move towards the things that you do want to do and you have fun with and you are better at. And then scale that and do the same thing, man. All my stuff has been very like linear the same way.
Yeah, I agree. I think the people who go like a complete curveball into a new industry, like new business, that's too risky for me. I've never done that.
It's hard, dude. The kettlebell company for me was one that was super different. But it's also one of the only ones that like worked really well. But that was a huge just timing issue.
Just a big, that like a huge risk for you as well,
right? It was
a
huge risk, yeah.
Was that when you first got out of Forged?
Yeah, I started before I sold my half of Forged.
Yeah.
And then, but I still had no money. It was $20,000 in credit card debt and put a $60,000 PO in. I had no fucking money.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I hope this works or I'm fucked. Thank God it worked. Because I had like a 3-month pre-sale on it to get them sold.
Oh, yeah.
And it worked, but then that begat some other problems and then solved those problems and then more problems. Very problematic business. But, the timing of it was perfect because Dave Craster is helping us out with CrossFit. So we got on ESPN in the finals with they're using our bells, Rich Froning's up there doing it and they were zooming in on ESPN and our shit. And Joe Rogan actually featured us on one of his shows. That was before I listened to podcasts. We got like a whole surge of fucking orders. I'm like, where the fuck are these orders coming from? No shit. I like saw you on Rogan's podcast. I'm like, podcast nerd. Not Rogan, but like the people listen to podcasts.
Yeah, for sure. You're like, what's a podcast?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, people listen to those?
Well, that's the weirdest shit too, because when I first heard podcasts, I'm like, what the fuck do they call it a pod? Are they sitting in a pod? I had no fucking idea.
It is
and even now, like when we developed this, I was like, why don't we just call it a show? Because podcast used to strictly just be audio, and then obviously they got into the monetizing aspect of YouTube and all that, and I mean now it's basically just a streaming fucking show. I mean,
yeah, essentially, and it's evolved quite a bit, but dude, it's funny that I didn't notice it at the time, but looking back, with more experience in the entrepreneurship world, dude, I'm really realizing now how big of a issue or how big of an impact just timing is.
Most underestimated thing.
Yeah, and there's nothing you can do about it unless you have like crazy foresight, but
I
mean nobody does really. A lot of it is just fucking luck. Man. Right place at the right time and you have the right thing that you built in that moment. Yeah. And you're like, fuck dude, and it takes off.
But I feel like as you're doing it longer, then you recognize timing on items and you also like, fuck, we got to go fast. You got to go because that's half a business. If you look back at most all companies, like their timing into the market or launch or whatever had so much to do with it. And if you're passive, which is normal early on, because you're like, I don't fucking know. But when you start recognizing that, like this product, it's 100% like timing and seeing where like beverage was. Like I was the leader. We have to fucking go in and go all in on this.
Yeah. So was that the next business that you started after that, or was how was it transition out of that other one?
So we had the agency until pandemic. And we were actually, because we were doing, all of our customers were in hospitality. So we were doing social marketing. We ended up doing some ops with a lot of like restaurants, bars, hotels that naturally you want to open your own. So we found a place in East Village and that was our Poke shop, Poke Vita.
Oh yeah.
And our after construction was done, our opening date was March 26, 2020.
Oh, perfect timing.
Yeah. I mean, we secured it and started construction well before there was even a sniff of pandemic, so we did not see it coming.
Yeah.
And naturally, we didn't open then. We had such a great. We're right across from Petco Park. We were opening the same weekend as opening day of the Padres, where they do the block party. We were the feature.
Oh, wow.
It dumps out right where our poke shop was. So we had this like fairy tale grand opening. It just got fucking squashed.
That sucks.
So we opened a couple months later, and then we were just. It kind of just ruined the fun. Like opening a restaurant is like that first time grand opening. Your friends, your family, the people, like they sit down, and we had to open with masks on and like take your bowl and get the fuck out.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It kind of spoiled that little honeymoon period, but. We survived. We got through. We kept it open, and then we had a bar in Point Loma that we bought into with one of my other partners, and Dropkick was an acquisition. Like terrible timing because it was during pandemic, but I just had always expressed interest. I knew some guys. The original founder was Heath Bell. He was a pitcher for the Padres, and he founded a different company name, but he just had a passion for coffee, and he picked a really hard business because we manufacture everything and I'd always expressed interest, and he got the fuck out of California when the pandemic hit, moved to Texas, and he was just going to let it go. And someone in the company called me, and mind you, I'd furloughed everybody in my agency. I'm opening a restaurant that just got fucking pushed. We're kind of buying out my other partners in this bar in Point Loma, and I get this call. But again, when you have that, dude, when you're fucking your gut IQ at doing this, I knew his business. I had this in my office, so I knew the product was good. I come from the beverage world. I'm like, dude, I got to go see it. So we went the next day, looked at the brewery. Then we had to obviously do our due diligence. He was eager to sell. We didn't buy the company. We bought all the assets. We knew we were going to rebrand. And so this was our first time acquiring a business. During pandemic. And then you actually, when we came in here, you actually gave really good advice. Except it was hard to act on that advice because this was taking off at that time a couple of years ago. We had the Pokey restaurant, we had a bar and whatnot, and we were backed. I don't know what we were whiteboarding, but you're kind of drilling into like, you need to let these other go. Like this is it, which at the time I'm like, I know, but to unpack that's really fucking hard. To even, I feel for anybody that gets in a brick and mortar commercial lease that like to unpack Pokey, I knew it was the answer. I think I needed to hear somebody else with your experience say it too. And it kind of started at least the process of, okay, we're not going to re-sign our lease, which we didn't at 5 years with Pokey. We fortunately found a buyer in LA who bought it. And we right now we're actually in escrow in the barn in Point Loma. But this is it. I'm going to be doing this until we get acquired or I fucking retire, which I will never do.
Yeah.
So that's what I love about this. It's the first business I've had that like the ceiling's so high and I can see myself doing this until legit. I'm like retirement years, which I don't know what those years are.
That's so awesome to have something like that. It's funny about advice. Like giving advice is so much easier than taking advice.
Yeah.
Because like you see it so much clearer on the outside. It's like driving a car. You're driving the car. You think you're driving a yellow car. Somebody's like, nice blue car. Like, what the fuck? I thought my car was yellow.
Yeah.
You just don't know, man. And because you're so close to it and so in it, it's hard to have a realistic perspective of what it is. And then you're also viewing it from the outside. You're unemotional about it. I've been wrong about my own business so many times. In fact, I only recently came to the realization about why our business has been having problems the last couple of years, and it turns out it's a timing issue. I just didn't see it before until somebody else said something similar like that, and they referenced these other things. I'm like, oh, it all fucking ties together. I didn't see it because I've been so close, I've been so in it that I wasn't able to see it objectively. But that's why it's so important to have these conversations with other people who are in the fucking trenches, because like I've had some of my best advice from, do you remember Brandon Stapper?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was
great guy.
Great dude.
Yeah.
He told me some advice years ago that I didn't want to hear at the time. He's like, because I had these big ideas, I want to build a big company, but I didn't want to have employees. I don't want to deal with any of that. He's like, bro, you're never going to build what you want to build unless you address like becoming a better leader. I was like, fuck that. I'll just outsource it in companies and all that. And he was totally right, man. It took me a couple years to realize it. And then I was like, dude, Brandon was completely fucking correct. Like,
he was so great, man.
Yeah, I miss that guy.
But to that point, and I talk about that all the time, is like when you're the owner, there's no one above you to tell you what you're doing is right or wrong. There's no one saying like, hey, you're on the right path. It's your intuition and your experience.
That's what your wife's for.
Yeah. So I think it's helpful when you have someone who's been doing it like longer and in a similar space, and I don't know, like to hear someone else say like, yeah, man, this is the path. It is a little bit of a reassurance to be like, okay, because you don't have somebody ever saying like, dude, you're doing, even right now, like, I have a feeling I'm doing the right thing for the company. Like, I'm very confident in it, but there isn't anybody saying like, you're on the right track, man. Here's your next metric. Here's the KPIs. Here's where you need to go. I'm like, no, I'm kind of writing this all.
That's like the worst shit you want to hear too. Like after the fucking shit folds, you're like, well, I knew it was all fucked up, but I didn't want to say anything. You're like, I invested in a liquor or a distillery restaurant in Long Beach. Me and my wife. It was her cousin that he owns like 3 restaurants at the time in Long Beach. He was starting this restaurant and distillery in Long Beach with his friend that was a distiller. The distiller was like his day job. He worked for fucking Boeing. He's like a fucking rocket scientist. So shit started kicking off. You know, they build out this building, they get everything in there, and the model was the restaurant was going to keep the distillery afloat until the booze kicks off, and then we're canning stuff. Like, you know, the big picture was, you know, Cutwater. You know, hey, let's, you know, so they were doing all clear spirits, had a barrel house in San Pedro, won some awards for his spirits and stuff. The food was all kinds of different stuff. And then, well, we opened the doors September 2019. Fuck. So COVID hit. Yeah. And then with all the fucking LA, because Long Beach is in LA County. Man. So with all the LA fucking shit, like, they even got to a point where they'd be like, okay, you can serve food and drinks and shit outside. So we had a big whole patio area, and they had this whole area that was blocked off and tented and everything. They're like, okay, we can fucking survive this. We can recoup some of this. And then LA would go back on their, like, they would have a surge in COVID fucking
purple
infections.
tier, red tier, green
12
tiers.
more people
Yeah, they're like, okay, no
shit.
more outside fucking shit. And you're like, fuck, there goes, you know, we had to go buy all these fucking tables and tents and shit. Now we're even more in the fucking hole. Yeah. We can't use any of this shit. So, but yeah, it's fucking weird when you there's certain metrics, and there's certain, like you're saying, I wasn't a restaurant person, and there's certain things where you can never, I mean, who would have fucking predicted the pandemic? You know, that's one of the things. It's just like, you know, but yeah, I mean, we finally shuttered our doors in like February of, fuck, what year is this? 2025, I think 2023. I mean, they kept it going for a while, and then finally it was just like, just whittle. I mean, they were so far behind in like back rent and shit, because, you know, during the pandemic, like a bunch of these builders were just like not collecting anything. Yeah. And so they had tried to fucking work with the landlord and shit over some of this stuff, and it finally got to a point where they're like, dude, we're just fucking literally just bleeding money every month, and they're like, dude, we got to just close. Yeah. Just got to throw in the fucking towel.
Not every fight's winnable.
Yeah.
You know, and you guys being able to make it through is like the testament to you guys. That, I don't know how the fuck anybody made it through in the restaurant industry.
It's fucking crazy, man.
We were lucky. Like, I'm sure you guys had a big space, so like the operating costs, overhead. Like, we specifically got that pokey shop because we wanted to duplicate it. It was maybe 3,000 square feet, 2,500 square feet, low overhead, and it's a fast casual. So it's like a Chipotle. You go up and order. Yep. Our idea was we want to duplicate and make a dozen of these in 5 years. Yeah. I never wanted a full service restaurant, never wanted that 10, 20,000 square foot space. Like, thank God, because that is so hard. People don't get it. Like, your overhead, and I love, like, the politicians were just like, oh, purple tier, or we'll just shut it off. I'm like, do you understand what it takes to turn it back on? Yeah. Like, especially a restaurant or distillery, like, getting everything back on. Like, a big thing in the restaurant industry was like, you understand people are sitting on inventory of food, perishable food. Yeah. That just fucking so then they gotta they eat all thousands of dollars of food. Then you're like, oh, we can get back on. Now they gotta rebuy thousands of dollars. Shit, re-onboard all your staff. I'm like, this isn't a light switch, but all these politicians thought of it that way. Like, hey, good news, we're back on. I'm like, great, I'll be up and running maybe in 30 days. Yeah. Maybe I'll have our staff.
I'll change their mind by then.
Yeah.
Like, well, dude, they had started distilling fucking hand sanitizer.
Oh yeah,
and given to like the VA hospital in Long Beach. They were selling to them, and I mean, they were literally trying to find shit to make with the distillery.
I saw companies do that. That was actually pretty smart.
Crazy.
It was creative. Yeah.
And but yeah, it was fucking weird, man. Like that was my first little foray into like investing in this company, and man, we were like, well, that was fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's tough, dude. I've been like, I'm glad my advice to you worked out, because I've been wrong a lot too. Like, fuck, man. That's why a lot of times I don't even give advice anymore. I'm just like, hey, here's some stories that happened, and kind of
take with it what you will.
It's embarrassing like how often I've been wrong looking back. Shit that I never thought would work goes to gangbusters, and things that I thought would be like, oh, for sure.
Yeah, man.
Just don't work. I'm like, fuck. Now I try to I try to keep my mouth shut more with the advice, because I got lucky with that advice.
Yeah. No,
even my own shit. I'm like, if my advice worked, we'd be having this podcast on a fucking 50-foot yacht right now, you know?
Yeah.
No, for sure, man. That's funny. Yeah.
You guys want to take a quick break?
Yeah. I literally this morning I had something that was just like bugging me that we're currently working on. And I kind of vented a little. I'm really good about like insulating her or anybody around me from like the work shit. But like this morning I just had to, I vented a little bit. But afterwards I told him like, hey, that's actually very helpful. I appreciate like, and I do it constructively. It's not me fucking pounding walls walking around the house. I just was like, it was something because specifically it hit my desk, but it was like 6 a.m. that I'm up, and I could tell too, like it kind of was a funk that I looked like I was in. Like, hey, by the way, and this was after we went to the gym, other shit. I'm like, so here's what happened. I got a text, and then it just fucking took me in another direction. But like getting it out is helpful. So yes, yeah.
All right, sweet. Yeah, we'll get into that. I think there's a lot to be said for like having the type of relationship that you're happy with in whatever capacity that is. So I know for me, fuck, I don't get 200, but Disney is a great partner in entrepreneurship. She would have been a terrible partner when I was a team guy. You know, very different types of people that do well in different situations.
Yeah.
Wait, did you meet her? You were out. You were.
Yeah, I got out in 2008, and then I met her in 2014.
Oh damn.
Or 14.
And you have a wife too?
Yeah.
You met while you were in, or?
Yeah. Fucking very weird combination. I met her right before I deployed, my first deployment, and then we kind of dated for a while, off and on, and shit, she stuck it out for like 3 deployments.
Fuck.
And then I think finally it got to a point where it was like kind of like shit or get off the pot type thing. She was like, you know, hey, look, we're growing. You know, she graduated college. She went to SDSU. She graduated, and she was kind of looking which way she was going to go with all of that. Mm-hmm. And, you know, she's trying to make major life decisions, and was like, look, you know, either we're going to get engaged and get married, have fucking kids, and have happily ever after type shit, or, you know, we just need to like clean break and just go our separate ways type shit, you know? And yeah, like one of my deployments, I'd basically like saved all my fucking per diem or shit and bought an engagement ring, and, you know,
here we go,
proposed to her. And man, been married for like 23 years now.
Damn.
We dated for 5 before we got engaged. So, I mean, I've known her since 97.
Wow.
And then, you know, she actually lived across the street from me in PB. So I lived on Hornblende between Cass and Dawes. Mm-hmm. She lived right across the street. So we kind of met each other then. And then it was like...
That's the epicenter of PB, too.
Oh, dude. It was fucking weird, because when I came back from that deployment, I moved up the street, still on Hornblende, but it was between Haynes and Ingram. Lived there for a really long time, between like shuffling fucking roommates in and out, and then I would deploy and come back to the same house and shit. And then that's when we kind of start getting more serious, to a point where I was like, all right, I can't have a bunch of fucking roommates and try and have a serious relationship with anybody. And like, so that I got a 1-bedroom on Lamont, Missouri. And she had moved back to her mom's house, like trying to save money and shit because she had just graduated high school. She's like, wait a minute, she's in high school? She just
We've been
graduated.
dating for 5 years at that point.
Yeah. When I first met her, she was in 7th grade. No.
Bought her a backpack.
Yeah. Here's your Punky Brewster fucking backpack and lunchbox. No, she was she had been working a lot of places down in PB. So like she worked at the Rusty Pelican, which turned into was a fish fucking place. Was it Joe's Crab Shack? It turned into Joe's Crab Shack, and then it turned in, I don't know what it is now.
I think it's Water Bar.
It might be. Yeah. And then she worked a bunch of, she worked at Moondoggies. She worked at a bunch of places like Cocktailing and shit. And then, yeah, she'd moved kind of back to her mom's house and like, I don't know what's the fucking area. It's like off 15, like University, like is it something Heights?
University Heights?
University Heights, maybe. And then yeah, I deployed, came back, and that's when it was kind of like, okay, we got engaged, and then it was just like, okay, what are we gonna fucking do? And then I bought that townhouse I have now up in Del Cerro area, and got married and pushed out fucking 3 kids and yeah. So our first found out she was pregnant with twins right off the fucking bat. So I have 20-year-old boys that are in college now.
Damn.
Yeah. And then we have a 16-year-old daughter who is a junior in high school. And yeah. But going back to the relationship, I think like our relationship wouldn't work for everyone, just like yours and Disney's relationship wouldn't work for everybody. And
what fits,
yeah. And I think like because I did 21 years in the Navy and I retired, and then I kind of kept working in the film industry. So, our level of kind of me being gone and she's kind of taking care of the fucking home front was kind of what like worked for us. Mm-hmm. Because I know like the last 2 years I was in the military, I was at 3rd phase. So I would go out to the SCI. I'd go out to San Clemente Island for a week, come back for a week, then go back out there for a week. And then I was off for about 3 weeks where I was at home. And that was probably the most strained that our relationship ever was, because it was like back and forth.
Yeah.
And it's just so hard to get in a routine like that. And then, once I retired and was doing more film industry
Especially
shit.
You guys had young kids at that time too. That's a lot.
Yeah. And that's, it's a lot to ask of, and that's kind of why I retired when I did. I was like, man, my boys are, still like relatively young. My daughter was, I think she was only like maybe 2009. So yeah, she was like 4 years old when I retired. And so, I think for me, that was the right time to get out of the military. But then, doing film industry shit, I would go on some of these shoots where I'm gone a month or 2 months, 3 months, and then come back. So a lot of it kind of replicated what I'd been doing in the military.
Yeah, so it wasn't a big shift.
No. So, and I mean, even now, there's times when literally I'll be home for an extended amount of time, and like the wife would just be like, don't you have some fucking job to go to or something, which is kind of funny.
She's looking to watch like, what are you doing? Leaving next.
But yeah,
I love that, man.
Yeah. So it's just kind of our ebb and flow of our relationship,
Yeah, you got to find something that works for you. And Disney and I have only been apart, I think the longest was like a week.
Yeah.
When she went to Florida for Disney World, which I'm glad. It sounds miserable. I would not want to go to that. But also too, I don't know if this is true for you guys, but I've grown so much. I'm like the person I was. So you guys kind of grew together, right?
Yeah.
You guys are individuals, but you grew in the same trajectory. I've so different than I was when I was in my early 20s that it would be very rare that if I was with a chick that she would have grown in the same direction as me. So I had girlfriends, I think, that were good in those moments and those times.
Yeah.
But I don't think that any of them would have been good for the trajectory that I'm on now. I don't think they've grown in their own ways, but not in the same way that I have.
Yeah.
And I think Disney and I's trajectory is just, for whatever reason, luck, they just matched up. So we've been really good together. Like who I am now or who I was at the start when I met her in 2014. was a really good person for her to meet when she was 22. And then we grew together.
Yeah.
And now we're very aligned on stuff. We still piss each other off, but
Oh yeah.
but
Well, that's gonna happen.
yeah,
You're also unique that you guys run a business together too. Like it's already stressful managing a household, then you're managing a business together. Like that says a lot.
Yeah.
You guys have been through some like on the court and off the court battles together.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
You know how it is being an entrepreneur, though. It's like it feels lonely. So that's actually been really good. Where during the hard times, I have somebody who knows everything about the business.
Yeah.
I can bounce ideas off of. We can be like, fuck, honey, we're fucked right now.
Yeah.
Or hey, honey, we're killing it. Like, let's go, celebrate. But I think for us that works. But it's so hard to find. You don't know what you want until you have it. Or sometimes you don't know what you want until you get the opposite. And you're like, fuck that. I don't want that,
Yeah, you got to figure out what you don't want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely done that.
Those lessons are sometimes a lot clearer to figure out than what you
Yeah,
do
for
want.
sure. Still part of it.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. I remember coming to your house a couple years ago and you talking about just the dynamic of juggling both. And you're right, man. That is cool. Once you, I'm sure it hasn't been an overnight process, but like there's something reassuring that she knows the challenges because she has the same challenges when you're not, like when you leave the house, they might not, they'll definitely not know like military challenges, but when you're running a business, they don't know. And you try to actually protect them from that.
Yeah.
Like you should,
Yeah.
if you're doing it right, when you come home, if you're being a man, you try to keep those away. You want to share a little bit, like I got to get some off my chest, but you don't want to bring that home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys probably like the fact that you're able to I guess compartmentalize, if that's the right word, is huge.
We had to figure out where that is because we don't compartmentalize it because our work is our entire life.
Yeah.
So we go home, we're talking about business, we're doing shit. We work from home half the time. So anyway, so it's like we don't have that. But that's also, so we started going to couples therapy like 2 weeks ago. And we just went this morning, actually. It's been great, bro. Like, it's so nice. And she feels the same way. Because we get, like, it's not really a therapist, more like a referee.
Yeah. That's a good term.
I feel
Like
they
stay
should
in your fucking corner.
Yeah, exactly. And they're, like, blowing the whistle. Okay, you're right about that, but you're right about
How
that.
much is she paying you?
Yeah.
Dude, totally. You're on the take, aren't you?
I'll double it.
Yeah. But one of the things we talked about is that we had to figure out where our lines are. And turns out, so for Disney, once we're in bed, she doesn't want, like, she's got to turn her mind off. And so no business talk in bed. But for me, sometimes that's my quiet time. So I'll just be thinking about ideas and talk about shit. And I don't even expect her to answer. I'm just like kind of talking to myself. And it pisses her off.
You're
So-
like, oh yeah, baby. Did you see those new shirts? She's like, God damn it, no fucking.
I was
No
thinking you
business
said it. I was legit thinking it.
I should have been more clear.
Those new blanks we got are fucking dope.
Fire. But yeah, now I realize from her perspective, that's her zone. So I'm like, cool. And that's a small ask to me to not talk about business and when we're getting ready for bed. I'm like,
That's
cool.
fair.
Yeah, but it was these just little things that she didn't want to nag. She didn't want to bring it up. I'm like, fuck, I'm totally fine with that. But we just didn't communicate. So
Yeah.
it turns out most of these issues that we're dealing with are just miscommunication things. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
We went to therapy literally like one fucking time, and the ref was literally like Gabby would be like, she would get upset because I put fucking cameras like all like outside of the house and some shit in the house,
Right.
Nothing like in no bedroom or
Right,
bathrooms,
yeah.
obviously, but dude, I was like gone so fucking much, and there are times when literally I'll text, and this is when the kids were still really young. Like now, obviously, I can text my kids, and they're right on top. Like, hey, Dad, what's going on? Whereas, dude, Gabby does not like multitask at all. So if she's at work, she gets. I guess maybe she gets sidetracked too easily. So like she doesn't put her fucking phone away. She'll be like on her phone. The next thing you know, she's like, oh fuck, like I missed an appointment, or so. There are times when I would be on a trip and then I text her and I'm like, well, fuck, thanks for getting back to me. I'm like 8 hours, eight time zones away or some shit. And then there's a chime like, oh, hey, yeah, my day was fine. I'm like,
like 3 a.m.
thanks for the fucking speedy response. I sent that shit like 7 hours ago, So shit like that. So, and then, just overall, like you want your family to feel secure or be safe. And so, dude, there were times I'm like, fuck, I got to put up some fucking cameras. And when I'm not at the fucking house, at least I know that
it gives
some
you
asshole's not
security.
breaking into the fucking house and shit. And so at first, like, Gabby kind of took that as like me being fucking paranoid, and I'm like, well, maybe I am.
Reasonably.
It's like, it's like Crimmins used to say, just because you're not paranoid doesn't mean that someone's not out to get you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, good point. But yeah, it was one of those things. We go to the fucking counselor, and she was literally just like, no, I see why he's wanting to put fucking cameras and shit. And like Gabby was just like, fuck that, we're not going back that bitch no more. She don't know what the fuck she's talking about, which is fucking hilarious, But to
of course, that's how it is.
But to the other thing too, you were talking about when like venting things. Like I remember I was doing this when I first got out of the teams, and I was doing fucking film shit. But I was also teaching EOD guys how to shoot, and then I booked that Coast Guard gig where I was teaching the Coasties, and like there's something to be said for a level of like job satisfaction.
Oh yeah,
because this was in like the infancy of some of that shit, and like I was coming from the schoolhouse where everything's super regimented and like the third phase students are like, it's like you fucking snap your fingers. They're like falling, it's like, hey, I say jump, then you're going to say how high. And like, you want certain shit done. It's like done right away. And so when I go and start teaching, like whether it's the Coasties or EOD guys or techs or whatever, it was just like at a fucking snail's pace if it was done at all and shit. And so, and then I would come home and, Gabby would be like, hey, how's your day? I was like, dude, these motherfuckers. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, I swear these fuckers could be the death of me, And then she could see in, the fucking lack of job satisfaction. And she was just like, why the fuck are you still doing that shit? Like, go follow your passion. Like, stop doing that shit. And, some of that shit was why I went to film school and started digging in deeper. Was like, well, fuck, man, I got my GI Bill. Like, I might as well use it on something that I'm passionate about or something that I at least enjoy. So that was part of that. But like you're saying, like either being able to vent to your spouse or not, or protecting your spouse. It's kind of the same as like a yin and yang, a give and take to that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you just got to find what works for you and your partner, man. I mean, and sometimes it's total immersion and alignment, and sometimes it's a separation, and then you come together for certain things. It's like there's no right or wrong answer to it,
Yeah. I mean, shit, she could have just as well said, would you fucking stop bitching?
Yeah.
Like, shut the fuck up. I'm like, thanks, dear.
Yeah.
Versus kind of like, what are the things that are troubling for you? Is it this, and I will say having a spouse like that is fucking rewarding.
Totally.
Versus somebody that was just like, stop your fucking crying.
I think that's the difference between having a partner and having a spouse. Like, you can have a spouse that's whatever, but if you have a spouse that's like a true partner, you can. It's a whole different dynamic.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So you're at with we were just starting on Dropkick story.
Yeah. So now, we weathered a lot of storms. And I told you when I put that bottle down, that's like, we launched that at the end of 2024.
This one.
That one. Yeah. It's timing wise. We're fortunate where we service the morning coffee drinkers. Like a third of our business is roasted coffee beans. Mm-hmm. So we supply your like local coffee shops down the road to the San Diego Zoo is one of our customers. Like coffee beans will always be a big part of our business. Canned cold brew, big part of our business. But we're lucky. We also now capture the midnight espresso martini drinker. Coffee cocktails is the fastest growing category in
really?
Espresso martini is now, it's a top 3 or 4, and you're talking about like it's going against like margaritas, Mai Tais, like those. It has, the way that it's shot up as far as its demand and popularity has has sped the process of all of those. Those all grew over time, and those are just household drinks. It's like the number 3 or 4 drink poured across the country outside of the States. And so we actually listened to our customers. We had a lot of our customers on premise, which are all bars, restaurants, hotels, using that. These espresso martinis took off, so they were trying to make the cocktail with that. And there's still a ton of places. Yeah, they use that black can. It's like that's our boldest brewed coffee. And so they're putting the vodka, liqueur, all that. And they were hitting our sales reps, and they're like, hey, they use the word concentrate. And a better packaging, a better way, like a better application. And we kind of brushed it off. I'm like, why the fuck? You're already buying our shit. Why would I just keep buying our shit? And then we started listening. I'm like, wait, we'd never done a concentrate before. So it was a new process that we dumped a lot of R&D into. But also too, like, I get it now. And we watched, it's not just going to be a fad. We watched the espresso martini cocktail. And now we have a sales deck that shows the evolution from 2021 when it started to now where it's at. That's how we get new distribution and like making more of like our distributor teams aware of it. But like, if you look at that bottle is built, that's what the bottles up here are. We built it specifically in a 750 mil. Yeah. You take that off, the pour spout can go in, it can go in the well. So now these bartenders, there's still a ton of, we're just scratching the surface. Like we're distributed in Nevada, and Vegas is a big market for us. Think about the way they were pouring it before this, and still a lot of places are. They put their vodka, liqueur, and then a lot of places are taking like a Keurig machine and dumping a shot in there, brewed coffee, they're pre-batching it. They're trying to put it in like one of those plastic, like you put juices or mixers in. So I'm like, well, fuck, the end user is going to be bartenders. So we got to make something that they look at and they're like, oh, fuck. Because before that, they were having to do this janky way of making this drink. And you get 4 espresso martinis ordered, which is common. Then they're like dumping out shots and whatnot. So
what a pain in the ass to make that must have been.
It's a huge pain, and it's expensive. So that we package. It's our first time working with a partner. So we have a co-packing facility in LA who's been incredible, because we didn't have the equipment to pasteurize it, to heat pasteurize it. So that's actually, these are refrigerated 4-month shelf lights. All our cans are. That's actually a 12-month dry store. It doesn't have to be refrigerated. Oh, shit. Yeah. So that's when I said it opened up scalability. Now we can go into new markets, because before, when we launched these into new markets, you have a shot clock right away. We get them their product, and now we got to start acquiring business, because these are like, it's a shot clock. They're perishing. Yeah. This is like, no, let's go. Let's get a running base, and we educate their teams, and it's taken off. So we're very much, this whole year we've put a ton of our time and resources and money scaling this, and next year is going to be in spades, because now we've figured it out. Now we have distribution coming to us, new markets coming to us, the product, like people are understanding this product, because we still have to educate. Like I was on a call yesterday with a distributor we're bringing on in the Pacific Northwest, and like just understanding the application of it, because they're still uninformed on that, which for us is an opportunity. Like timing wise, we're not selling against other concentrates. We are the first. My tagline with this was, we want to be first to well. We want to be in everybody's well, and then anybody who comes and tries to duplicate it, they're selling against us.
Fuck, that's a good strategy.
Yeah.
Which is kind of
logo too.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Well, which is kind of fucking crazy too, that you're having to kind of educate somebody from the Pacific Northwest, like, arguably kind of the birthplace of coffee fucking resurgence in the U.S. I mean, with Starbucks and all these. But as somebody who frequents a lot of bars, I will say in the last 2 years, you see that shit so much, and it is addicting. Like you'll see somebody making espresso martinis, and next thing you know, it's like, ooh, that looks good. Next thing you know, they're like, okay, 16 fucking martini, and the dude behind the bar is just like, fuck.
Yeah. Well, and you probably experienced this too, because all the challenge you had with the distillery, it's also the spirits and beer for sure. They just, in general, pandemic aside and all the politics aside, it's declining. Like people aren't drinking. You see all the stats, which are true. The younger, like the 20-year-old kids, the 20s, which used to be the fucking drinkers, they're not drinking the way they used to. Yeah. Beer's dying on the vine. So for us, like that, the case price on that for them is similar to their vodka, their other spirits. So like, why don't you sell them both the spirit and the mixer that goes in it? You make the same case price on it, and all these other products are starting to die off. So they're flocking to this, which is awesome for us, but it's a timing thing. And so I saw, I'm like, dude, we have to, like, it was very expensive, because like with you, like working with a co-packer, like we have to hit MOQs, and the POs are that was new to us. Like we always bought the raw goods, the aluminum cans, the coffee beans. We have the canning line in our shop. We have the roasting equipment in our shop. This was like, okay, now we have to front all the money.
Yeah.
So earlier this year is a good exercise for me because I pretty much, hopefully someday I can fully pass it off. But like we have an outside accounting company, but I very much handle a lot of the finances. I was having some challenges with that because I never work with a co-packer. So watching our cash flow, because like we're bringing in 5,000 bottles at a time. Those sit, they start aging, and then when we get them out, then you're on net terms with them.
Yeah.
I got to bring more
yeah.
in. So watching that cycle, I fortunately got ahead of it in advance, and we brought more capital in to satisfy. It was good because we were satisfying fulfillment. Like we had the demand for it, so we knew like as soon as they're in, they're fucking going out. But it was a lesson this year staying in front of, because like, dude, whether I like it or not, we're in manufacturing. It's coffee and it's fun, but we're in manufacturing, and you know all that goes into that. Like cash flow and capital is so fucking important. And for me, like learning that, which I'm like, I probably have my bachelor's degree now and getting better in it, but learning that I can't avoid that. There isn't like there isn't delegating.
How fucking hard that is, and
Biggest
such an
stressor.
important part it is too. Because like you could have a company that does everything right, but you grow too fast and you outrun your cash cycle, and you're fucked. Like there's nothing you can do. It puts you in a really bad position, and sometimes there's ways to fix it, and sometimes you're like there isn't a way to fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go out of business by growing too fast in the wrong way.
Yeah, and it's also setting realistic expectations on your growth, because for us, like, cool, you get this great new PO or whatnot. Like, we have to manufacture all that. We have to front all that first, right? So you can very much you can cannibalize yourself if you're not doing it the right way. And so we had to set realistic expectations, because I always will have that desire as a business owner, like, oh, we want to be turning a monthly profit. But we also want to scale, and we want to grow this business and sell. So it's like splitting the difference of, I've never been one to like, there's so many companies that are getting into beverage who go from the jump into co-packer, and they're just burning fucking money on marketing exercises and this, and they don't have the demand. So we've been very good about matching our demand with our, because that's the sweet spot, man. And it's I talk about it easy now. It's a daily fucking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing with any product-based business. I mean, we deal with the same thing with apparel, just that comes in 6 different sizes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at least it doesn't go bad. So
Yeah. It's,
Well, then, I mean, I can imagine that having, obviously making a monthly profit, but then how much of that are you putting back in, you know?
Yeah.
There's got to be the fucking elephant in the room. You're just like, well, fuck, it'd be great to have $10,000 fucking profit every month, or $50,000 or whatever, but
then you
got to keep the bottles. But you got to keep the bottles coming.
Yeah,
you know?
and now the rooms are in with people that want to like bring us in or open markets. We can't be passive with our approach either, because they're like, okay, we want 2 pallets to start, this, that, and the other. Like, oh, I don't want to have those oh fuck moments. Like, we want to be prepared, but we also don't want to we don't want to crush ourselves.
Yeah,
so, yeah. It's been.
You're like, what do you mean by pallet?
Yeah.
You're like, a pallet.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been, dude, that's why I said I will do this as long as I need to. I actually enjoy the coffee space. I enjoy beverage. I'll keep building this. Everybody asks like, what's your exit number? I don't think about that. I did when we first started, and I kind of ran it that way, which is not good for running your day to day, is thinking about the exit.
Yeah.
I'm just building this to our plan, to our goal. And then when that comes along, it comes along. If it's the right, it's okay. I'm also very comfortable saying no and just keep fucking going.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said for like building your lifestyle, you know, building a business that pays for your life, that you enjoy on a day-to-day basis, like the fulfillment thing that you're talking about. Like just having that thing where you enjoy going to work.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we're trying to do with this, is like get this to the point where hopefully this will be the main gig one day.
Yeah.
And we're like, bro, that would be awesome.
Yeah, and you want something that you like believe in. Like, I don't understand that people, like, their only belief is in the bottom line. Like, I want to have a product that I believe in, I enjoy, like, even just hearing you talk about, like, the logo or that, like, I actually believe in it. Yeah. I love it. I love that. I don't feel like I'm selling someone. I'm not a fucking used car salesman. You know, I'm not a snake oil salesman. Like, I think, and I also know when we launched this, it's the first time we've had a product. We're like, dude, we're solving a problem. Like what you just said, these bartenders are screaming, like, when we saw it get on the market, like, fuck guys, not only is this a good product, but like we're solving a major problem with, isn't that like one of the number one things when you're launching any business? What problem are we solving?
Yeah.
We didn't realize till after, like, good product and we're solving a fucking problem. Let's go. Let's keep fanning the flames on this. So that's what we're all in on it.
Yeah, that's perfect. It makes sense. What the fuck are the kids doing now? If they're not doing alcohol, Are they doing CBD or something? Or?
I think, I mean, health and wellness, which is good. They're so invested in that. Like kids being up till midnight, 2 a.m. Like that was we went out at 10 o'clock. And I think now it's popular to be up early, to be like doing something that's benefiting.
Cold plunges in the morning
all
and
that,
shit.
Yeah, that wasn't for us. I'm like, I'm rolling out of bed at fucking 10 a.m. and like proud of it. Now you're the fucking bum. If you're in your 20s and you're out at a bar till 2 a.m. and you're sleeping in, like you're the outlier. I'm like, I don't fucking know.
It's not cool to be cool anymore.
No. But I mean, the numbers don't lie. Like the consumption is down in booze, and like that was always the target drinkers were in their 20s.
Yeah.
Like you've lived in PB. PB is not the same.
It's different.
You see how much turnover places closing? It's because those places relied on late night sales, and there's not late night drinkers. Drive up and down. I was taking my girlfriend up Garnett, and she's kind of new to San Diego. I'm like, this used to be, with the exception of maybe one night of the week, it was a fucking zoo.
Yeah.
Typhoon Saloon line,
fucking lines out the fucking door.
And not just Friday, Saturday. It was like Tuesdays, it was a fucking zoo. When does that ever exist now?
That's $2 you call it, Moondoggies? They're like, fuck yeah, dog.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I think a big part of it is that it's just too expensive these days, man.
Big time.
So I heard of this stat. I don't know if this is true or not, but they're saying that like 50% of people who were below, I think it was 30 or something, were still living at home with their parents.
Oh yeah, I follow that.
And I go out to drink with Disney sometimes, and we look at the bill. I'm like, fuck, bro. And we make okay money, but still, I'm like, dude, it's between me and her, and we're just having brunch and a couple drinks, like nothing crazy, not even time on, just a couple drinks and hang out for a couple hours. It's like $150 plus
easy
tip. I'm like, if you're 22 years old, bro, that's a significant fucking chunk. I can understand why people don't go out because like it's just too expensive to drink out nowadays. But also, what are people doing instead? Because normal like human interaction, young guys are gonna push the boundaries. They're gonna do shit. They're gonna go try to get laid. They're gonna. There's just things in human nature that are innate to kind of just the way we're built. And women want attention. You want these interactions and emotions and experiences. But like, where the fuck you're not getting that on a fucking cold plunge?
Yeah, well, like, I think it's there's two roots. Is one, I don't think they're making money like we made in our 20s. We always were working. I don't think they're not working in the way they used to. And I also, the only way we had like human connection and socializing was we'd have to go out to the bar. They're connecting digitally more than we ever
fucking
did. Like
TikTok and shit.
Yeah, it's even like, dude, my sisters, nieces, and all my friends have kids now too. Is like homeschooling's become, this is a total tangent, but same category. Like kids are wanting to homeschool more, and they're not as excited. Like I was so I hated school, but that's where I saw my buddies.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where you saw your buddies. You connected. Like they're connecting. Like my niece, she's 14 years old, and she's like got her phone propped up and FaceTiming like half the time at her house. So she's connected with her friends there. We had to leave the house at whatever cause to go out. So the same thing with bars. Like you had to go to the bar to go meet a chick. Now it's like fucking turn your phone on.
Yeah.
You know? And that's the reality.
I mean, imagine being able to bottle the fucking excitement of first day of school, figuring out what you're going to wear.
Huge.
You're like, this fucking outfit is fire. And then you go to school the first day, you see all your buddies you haven't seen in months, unless you're, in your upper teens and you're driving or some shit, or but yeah, it is fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like most of this thing, and I'm curious to see what stigmas and what fucking weird shit comes out of this in the next decade plus.
And that combined with COVID at the same time. And then if you're in your 20s and just like, I've lived in PB a long time. It is not like, I don't know how the fuck anybody affords to live there, to be honest.
Yeah.
And there's a lot, and we don't have a baller house by any means. It's okay, but like, I'm seeing these neighbors and shit, and they have normal jobs. Like, how the fuck are you living here?
Yeah.
How the fuck are you affording to live here and exist and go out and do all the shit and pay your fucking car insurance? Like, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
There's no way they're all making like fucking couple $100,000 a year. These are like normal 20, or late 20s dudes. I'm like, there's no way.
I feel like it's pushed out a lot of those young kids can't afford to live over there. Those were like the people who were spending money.
Exactly.
And my business partner, he pointed out something really good. And his first business was in Mission Beach, and he's operated bars and restaurants in PB. Is because I said, like, what else is it other than what we're talking about here? He's like, honestly, I think Airbnbs also taken a lot of business away too, because having those like long-term, like local residents living there, those are your regulars. Those who are paying the bills on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and going out. Now there's so many, like, what would you say, like half the properties in PB and the outer areas are Airbnb. So if they're not booked out, like, and some of those people who come, they're not going straight to PB. They might go to SeaWorld. They might go up to North County. They're going around like, you don't have the built-in regulars.
The locals.
Interesting thing on that too is that, because I love Airbnb. I love getting Airbnb, like the one we got for my birthday that's coming up. It's going to be fucking sick. But the problem is it completely cannibalizes all the nice markets. So we live in like a medium to like fairly nice place. It's like relatively new, you know, it's the last like 8 years. And
except for the harmonica players.
Except for that guy. Yeah. Gotta work that one out. But there's a huge gap between like the relatively nice places and then you've got super fucking nice places. Everything in that like medium to nice range is a fucking Airbnb. Like you cannot, it's a little bit better now, but like 2 years ago when we were looking, you could not get a place that was like ours or a little bit better for less than like twice what we're spending now. It was unbelievable. It's just because they don't exist on the market for long-term rentals because they're all Airbnbs. And I see them on Airbnb and they're great for Airbnb, but that's also artificially inflated the pricing, which is skyrocketed, partly COVID, partly BlackRock. BlackRock, partly all that, but partly Airbnb in these places is driving up the fucking cost, like
less inventory.
Insane. Yeah, because people make way more money having an Airbnb, so the realistic price of somebody would pay to actually live in it, it's unsustainable. The only way you can afford to live to have this place is to make it an Airbnb. So there's a lot of things that are tied into that, and I don't know what the answer is to it, but it's like, holy shit, man, it's definitely a different world than we grew up in. And better in a lot of ways, but also I kind of feel bad for some of these, I don't want to say kids, like, you know, younger dudes that don't get to experience a lot of the stuff that we did. You remember the block party in PB?
Yeah.
When you could drink
That's when I
bay.
met my wife. PB block party.
Yeah, man, that was like, I would... And the Bay, parties on the Bay, that was probably top 3 places in the world to party at. And now it's just like, they just don't get it.
Oh, dude, I just remember waking up Saturday morning and you like look at your roommates like, what do you guys want to do? Like, let's go sit out in front of Lahaina's with a case of beer.
Yeah.
You're like, you literally sit there and fucking, you know, yell at fucking people walking down the boardwalk or run into dudes you knew or whatever. But I mean, and then they did away with all the beach drinking. You're like, what the fuck?
So it's coming back. Because they were enforcing it really hard for a long time, and nobody was on the beach. Now I think they're just not enforcing it as much, thankfully, and people are kind of know they're not supposed to do it, so they still drink. But it's like, hey, let's just not
be a little incognito. about
let's
it.
just not have a fucking White Claw hanging out without a koozie and wave at the cops, you know. So it is coming back quite a bit, but it's just different, dude. And part of that is like, hey, I'm just an old man reminiscing about my day. But part of it is like, there's just a very human, innate, like, drive to fucking like build and conquer and grow and have these experiences. And I wonder how it's going to play out when these kids are like missing that. Like, where's that going to pop out at?
I don't think we're going to see till later on. And I think we could all speculate. And I hope they prove us wrong. I think they're going to have much lower social skills. Right? Like,
they already do.
In-person social skills. Because you sit down with anybody that like is Gen Z or whatever other like title they've given that lane that I can't keep up with, but they can't, like, when they're in a room with other humans, they can't socialize the way we can.
Well, even the problem solving aspect of it, like going back to when you talk about younger 20s guys drinking, like I went through that Virginia High Performance thing at the SEAL Foundation downtown. It's like a month. They like do all your nutrition and chiropractic, and it's like you go down there and you run through this thing for a month, and it's through the Navy SEAL Foundation, and you sit and you go through some classes. Like every week you're in like a group setting, and there were some team guys who were getting out. They were going through there. And, the whole aspect of like team guys aren't drinking like they used to. And they're like, dude, there's this huge, first of all, a huge fucking stigma because the old adage, drink, fight, fuck, and that shit doesn't really exist anymore.
Cool
like
anymore.
If you're coming in hungover, like it's not cool like it was in our day, to where you're like, oh man, we got fucking pretty tore up last night, or we did this and got in a fucking bar fight, and now it's like, oh well, your upward mobility in the SEAL teams is going to be affected,
That's
and
so crazy
it's just
to me.
like, well, and then you have the whole thing too, where used to, if you were a new guy, you were buying fucking bar tabs for all the fucking older dudes in the fucking platoon. Now they're, at least the dudes I was talking to, they're like, yeah, they fucking Master Chiefs put a fucking kibosh on that shit.
Damn.
So they're like, oh well, no, this young kid can't be buying drinks for your entire fucking platoon. We're like,
You just got a $60,000 bonus, bro.
Well,
You're good.
And it's like one of those things, like, dude, it ain't like it's something new that we started. It's gradually progressed to the point where, I mean, I did it, you did it. I'm sure everybody in certain platoons did it, but and then you get to the point where they're telling guys that, like, well, you don't have to go out to the bars with your guys if you don't want to, because nothing good happens after midnight type shit. And so it's just, I think there's a culture shift in some of that shit. And then talking to some of these same guys, they're like, kind of looked down on if you're not bettering yourself, if you're not Tuesday evening at the fucking jiu-jitsu gym fucking bettering yourself, or whatever, 5 days a week fucking doing whatever, what are you even training for?
Yeah,
type shit.
I think you can do both.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's hard to pull the pirate out of the team guy.
Yeah, and there's something to be said for the camaraderie you build on a fucking Thursday night, and Danny's, smashing fucking shot glasses over each other's fucking heads and punching each other in the face. There is a level, really, but there is a level of camaraderie with that, and building, especially if you're going down range, and everything you're being told is, I'm not fighting for my country, I'm fighting for the people standing to the right and left of me. So I definitely feel like there's a culture shift. Yeah,
but there's some guys, when you get in those fights with them too, where like they might be a team guy, but they're huge fucking pussies.
Yeah.
And you don't know it until you're in that moment, and you see them like back down from a fight, or be like a huge, like, not that you always need to fight, but like there's certain moments where like, okay, it's deserved and you should fight, and they go, oh, I don't want to fight, or they do fight. And
I don't want to hurt that guy.
Yeah, or they've got like no heart at all.
I don't want to get in trouble.
And they just start like, not crying, but like cowering. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
Yeah.
And then that's it's better you uncover that there than in other moments where it's bigger risk.
Yeah, but going back to the whole social aspect of it as well, some of the like older team guys that I know who are like Master Chiefs, Senior Chiefs now, bringing up some of these younger kids, they're like, dudes are suffering these lack of being able to socialize because they've been on this fucking device their whole life, and they haven't communicated to people face to face. So now when you have a kid who's like, hey, you need to put in a package to go to dev group, or hey, you need to put in a package to go seaman to admiral. You need to, this shit involves either interviewing with people, or at very least talking to your command master chief. And you have these people that are so just afraid of talking to somebody in a senior person. You're like, oh fuck, I can't go into his office. It just like, they literally just fucking shut down. They'd rather send him an email or something. You're just like,
grow up.
So this is some of the shit guys are saying. They're like, dude, it's just fucking weird. Like, you have younger guys that just, not that they perform bad, they're performing at a high level, but it just little tweaks. It's like, dude, you
gotta
fucking weird
that balance.
shit.
Yeah. Well, I always ask, it's a question I ask like my parent friends and I think there's a lot of good that the kids now are being raised with a lot of the technologies we have that make things easier. Like, they all know how to use Amazon. They all know how to use the delivery apps, all that.
I mean, even just having a fucking debit card in your pocket.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I look, I'm like, I ask my parent friends, I'm like, do you almost have to like manufacture adversity for your kids? Because everything comes so easy, which is a plus, and you want them to have, like, you want your kids to have an easy, smooth life, but you also don't want them to be pussies.
Yeah.
And you also want them to, like, when they're hitting those rooms where they got to talk to a superior or even like just a colleague or coworker, is I don't think they faced adversity.
Yeah.
And so it's like, what do you do to make sure, like when we were young, like I don't think being bored exists anymore, because they're always occupied, always entertained. And I'm guilty of that sometimes too. Like you have a dull moment, like real quick, I could be entertained for fucking hours.
Yeah.
Like we had to get really creative. It developed ingenuity. We also had social skills. You had to go out. I had to go knocking on doors to see if a friend could play or be out and create some sort of entertainment that I think that they're losing, like how to face adversity. And the terrifying thing is like, do you wait till it's too late when they become adults? Then they get in those rooms like, hey man, that was just a normal conversation with your boss. You melted down. Why? Well, it's because everything was so fucking easy. You know, I tell my friends, like,
I normally just send an email.
I hope,
text.
like, do kids still get in fucking trouble? Like, that's a good teacher right there, whether it's a fight or something. Like, I hope my kid gets brought home and he got in some shit or trouble, because that's adversity. He's got to figure his way out. He might get disciplined. He's going to like muscle up a little bit in a bunch of different ways. I don't think they have that. So they're getting thrown out into like adult world. They melt down. And that's why, like I talk about all the time, the average kid now is like staying home till 29, 30. Well, why? It's because they can't handle this.
Yeah.
And it's not like, it dates way back, as with anything. This was developed in them. Like they haven't developed those muscles because everything's just like fucking done.
Also developing like those problem solving skills. Yeah. Like if they never have to fucking figure shit out for themselves, it just you never truly gain that experience.
It's training. I think if you want to set your kid up for success in whatever that looks like in life, right? And you want to insulate them from pain and loss and major problems as much as possible, you have to introduce a little bit of training. You have to introduce a little bit of adversity for them so they get the feel for it, so that when they do find something that is truly difficult, it doesn't knock them on their ass. Or if it does knock them on their ass, they know to get back up. Because life is hard for everybody. Like, nobody gets out of this fucking unscathed, bro. Like you're going to have something that happens in your life that just completely fucking destroys you, usually multiple times. Yeah. And like if you're not prepared to deal with that, then you did your son or daughter a disservice by not preparing them for this. It's like sending them to the fucking octagon, like, no, just do a handshake and like just talk with them. But you're gonna fight this motherfucker.
Yeah, figure it out.
Yeah. Life is gonna punch you in the fucking
face.
Protect
your fucking face, motherfucker.
You better learn how to get up.
Dude, I had this great guy years ago. He owns. Have you been to Valley Farm Market? There's a Valley Farms. It's a grocery store. They have one in Spring Valley and they have one in like the La Jolla Shores. He's the owner. It's like generational business, and he was actually on the podcast a long time ago. And I'm sure he didn't coin this, but he said you got to choose your hard, because like being broke is hard, being rich is also hard too. Yeah. So it's like, and if you apply that towards anything, like either way you fucking go is going to be hard. Yeah. So you got to figure out like which do you want. You can't just fucking fold up though. Yeah. And that's I think that's the door they're picking. Like no, that's not an option.
Yeah, people don't understand. They choose the easy path because they think it's easy, but they don't realize like there is hard behind every fucking door. Everything, yeah. So you might as well choose a door that you fucking enjoy, or sometimes the known hard too. Like that's what I like. That's why Buds, I think, is a good test gate, because it's a known level of hard. There's so many things that are way fucking harder than that, like going through fucking, health problems or fucking entrepreneurship problems or relationship problems, or they're way harder than Buds. But Buds is a known level of hard, so it gives you that training. It's like benching 225 a certain amount of times. So, okay, that's a certain level of strength and resiliency. But you might go behind another door and it's fucking 500 pounds and you're 145 pounds. Like, bro, you're getting crushed.
Yeah. But you guys probably know the answer, and I don't know if this, I'm just winging it here. They already said like for years that the success rate in Buds was already like so fucking slim. It's got to be even slimmer now. I don't know if that's true, but like the people, because it's all pulling from the younger generation. It's got to be
kind of. It just maintains. It's fucking weird. They've done weird shit to make it not necessarily easier, but like they've introduced. Like the only way they've grown more team guys is just to start their fucking classes with just twice as many fucking dudes, because you're still only going to get 20%.
Yeah, true.
And it's fucking weird, because like I mean. When I went through, when you went through, it was, you go to boot camp. You learn a certain amount of bullshit that's all based on the fleet. Then you have to get an A school, which is all based on shit in the fleet. Then you go to Buds, but you've got a rating. So if you do quit, you have to fall back on that. But they did all of that shit, and then you'd go to buds, and then if you make it, you're in, but now you're still taking tests based off of shit from the fleet that you know nothing about. Yeah. So they did away with all that shit. They streamlined boot camp for guys who are just trying to go SWIC, SEAL, diver, EOD, like those specific ratings, and they
makes sense on the surface.
Yeah. So they streamlined that shit, and then they actually have what they called was pre-buds, which was like 6 weeks of like, I mean, literally bringing in world-class coaches and teaching people about nutrition and teaching the proper way of doing the fucking underwater recovery stroke. Whereas, like, when we showed up, we were just gutting it out. Yeah. We're like, fuck it, man.
Good luck,
Yeah. But they're like teaching these proper ways of swimming efficiently and proper ways of running efficiently and proper ways of taking care of your fucking lower body so you don't get shin splints and doing all these things. None of that shit has improved numbers.
Yeah.
Isn't that
it's
crazy?
still like
crazy
20%.
Yeah, it's nothing in since its inception. I don't think anything has changed it overall more than 3%.
Well, it's crazy. The fucking crazy thing is we actually have more deaths, more training accidents and shit like that in buds. Like when I went through, there'd only been one dude that ever died at buds, and he was hypothermic at the island. Since then, there's been like 6 motherfuckers that have died.
Yeah, some of it is like, and this might be a generational thing where people are so bubble wrapped, they have less of a sense of self-preservation. And this is maybe a good example of that. I remember I was teaching MAROPS, which is where we had to have these little, 15-foot Zodiacs and cruise around, the little inflatable ones. And we were having the students, and we were teaching them man overboard drills. So like somebody would jump out, and then they'd know which way to spin the prop, which is you turn the boat into them, which means you put the prop away from them. So hopefully you don't chop them up with the prop.
Yeah.
And then you circle back around, put in neutral or shut it off and pull them up and whatever. So I didn't know.
You would think you wouldn't have to tell these motherfuckers don't get chopped up by the fucking prop, you dumb motherfucker.
Or not even that. So we're like, hey guys, jump off the boat, gal circle around, and we were focusing on which way the coxswain would have to turn the prop because it's kind of counterintuitive. So you got to, initially at least, you have to pay attention to it. I didn't think that I would have to tell them don't jump off the bow of the fucking boat.
Oh Christ!
But this one kid. Literally, they're going at like 15 knots, and the dude, instead of jumping off the side, he jumped off the very front of the boat.
Jesus Christ.
And then got fucking ran over. And thank God he got lucky and didn't get like just chopped up by the prop.
Yeah.
But I was like, do you have zero sense of fucking, how the fuck did you make it this far? And you're doing this, like, how do you tie your fucking shoes in the morning, bro? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
And so the part of it might be just this kind of bubble wrap they've grown up with.
Yeah.
That there's just things that you shouldn't have to explain to somebody that, like, hey man, like, if the train is coming, get off the motherfucking tracks.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So overinflated sense of security or some shit, well, they said as long as the instructor's here, I don't have to worry about dying. You're like, yeah, but goddamn.
Yeah.
You can't stand in the middle of the road and get hit by a fucking car either.
Yeah. Well, like, they didn't tell me to jump off the side. I'm like, I didn't think I had to, motherfucker.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Holy shit.
And I feel like military is definitely a place where you can't start lowering the bar either for them to get through, right? Like,
no.
Because you're seeing that's happening a lot too. It's happening in fucking schools. They're lowering the bar. I just found out in Arizona where my nieces both went to school. It's now, I don't think it's California, but an A is now an 84. Where
That was low B, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's a
yeah.
And then it's scaled down as well. So I'm like, oh, you're lowering the bar to be an A student. Like, unacceptable.
Wow.
No fucking way. You can't do that. Like, if they did start doing that in the military, like, now that's a fucking way bigger problem.
No, that shit is happening in California because when my kids went through, they were like, oh, I got a 70. I'm like, so you failed? They're like, no, 70 is a D. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, no, 75's passing. They're like, no.
Yeah. They also
like, what the fuck?
There's also no punishment for late assignments. You can still get full credit and turn in. Like, so you're incentivizing them not to be punctual and accountable and on time. Like, no fucking way. No way.
Yeah. Some of that shit's
he's
pretty
laughing
fucked
over
up.
there. He knows this. Yeah. It's crazy,
That's
man.
insane, dude. So this is the point where, you're not doing your kid any favors. They think we're creating a good environment for them. Dude, the world is not a good environment for that shit. It does not reward these types of things.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to have a fucking centering moment here soon in the real world where it's like, and we're already seeing it where a lot of this woke shit is like going away and companies are like, hey, this shit ain't working. You know what I mean? And this work from home stuff, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but there's certain roles and jobs that like, motherfucker, you're in the fucking space. It's way more efficient. Like we tried doing that. It was so hard to get shit done, man. So hard to communicate on fucking channels, and you got WhatsApp and Slack and all this shit, and like way easier just pop in an office and be like, hey, here's a fucking problem. What do you guys think? Okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
It's so like,
especially
you can get it
if you
done.
already have a fucking lease on a place. You're like, great. But I lease this brick and mortar, and everybody wants to work for fucking home. You're like, fuck that.
But it's like if we're making the comparison, like buds and all that training, that's the simulation for the real, like what they're going to really encounter. You lower that bar, it doesn't get lowered out there too.
Exactly.
So then you look at school as a simulation. That's preparing you for out there. So you lower the bar. The bar doesn't change out there.
Yeah, exactly.
But you just lowered it on them. Now they get out there and they're getting fucking smacked in the face. Like, that's the reality.
I think if you're a younger dude now and you're, mid 20s, maybe early 30s, like, and you have work ethic and you have drive and you can fucking like take direction and do this shit, like, man, you can fucking steamroll motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
And it's also like reminding them that's just a season. Like you're in that's the age, the season you should be doing that. And it's going to build you for the next season. Like you can't skip over that. And the ones who try to skip over that, they're just going to stay put right where they're at. But you can't fucking skip it.
Yeah. I was listening to Rogan's interview with, what's that? Oh, man. He was on a morning show. Adam Carolla.
Oh, yeah.
Great episode.
He's fucking hilarious, dude.
Oh, super funny.
Yeah.
And what he was talking about was that, like, and I didn't realize this until I heard him say it, but looking back, I'm like, wow, that's pretty fucking true, is that a lot of the kids that he was talking to, they don't have any goals or dreams, and they don't really want to do anything. They don't have any hobbies. They just like playing video games. So they're not trying to achieve anything.
Yeah.
So for them, they're just kind of existing. They're like living NPCs, and they don't really want to build anything. They don't have any aspirations. So for them, it's like mediocrity is totally comfortable, and they're fine with that, like probably forever. And it's crazy how many like people are totally comfortable. I remember when we were growing up, like success was the thing. Like you strive for whatever that meant. Yeah. But you strive for success in whatever endeavor that meant something to you. But these people are just like, success is becoming like vilified.
For
almost.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think they're also like the younger youth, they're idolizing. Who they idolize is different than who we idolized. But they're also idolizing people who are like in the 1% category. Like YouTubers are a big thing now, gamers, all that. Most of the people that they're idolizing, those are the Michael Jordans that I idolize.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like if you want to do that, you better fucking do everything they did to get there.
Yeah.
But that's not the reality, and like it's not to squash their dreams, but who they're looking up to is totally fucking different, which also makes sense to how they're living too. Like how they're living kind of replicates that too, but you guys don't understand that is such a slim category of people. So in the meantime, if you're okay just going nowhere, that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah. And on social media too, like a lot of these people, they don't see them until they're already at that stage where they're already on step and they're cruising. They don't see Mr. Beast when he's fucking grinding 18 hours a day, doing all the shit like for
shooting
years
content
on end.
And still does. And he still fucking does.
And they don't see that. And the Paul brothers, love them or hate them, whatever, but they're known. But they put in a lot of effort and time to get to where they are, and it's like, dude, and these people have an unrealistic expectation of massive success with very little effort.
Totally.
And dude, it just doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
And the people that do get lucky, right, with Bitcoin or whatever timing they happen to luck out with it, they all fucking lose it. Every single fucking one, because you don't have the skill set to be able to keep it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you're not setting your kids up for success unless you introduce a little bit of like controlled chaos or adversity into their life and really prepare them for these things.
Yeah, I think it's when you describe the format, how you structure the show too, I'm like, dude, that's fucking perfect, because you said you like to roll the dial back to like early days, early on. We talked about some fucking crazy stories running a business. I'm so big on that because that's probably more relatable to people listening too, but it's also a reality check. Like if you want this, Like, here's all what comes with this
Yeah.
to get to here. And my advice now to anybody specific to business is so much different than before. And like the first thing when they say that they want to get into space, all of my questions go towards, well, what are your priorities personally? What do you have personally prioritized? Because you have to be comfortable with those that are going to go out the door. And if you're okay with that, then like fucking saddle up and let's go. But the reality is they want to relate to the now.
The finished product.
Yeah. And if you want that, like, that's why I asked you, like, is your answer now the same when you start a business as it was before? It's probably tweaked in the process, but my point of view now is so much different than before, because I look back and there was a ton of opportunity cost to now. Some I like, some I would probably prefer having back, and most all of my opportunity costs came from personal life. You know, you have to there's a ton of, I don't call it sacrifice anymore. It was investing back then because it's invested to now.
Yeah.
But that's the truth of what goes in. So I think showing that, putting a spotlight more on that than this is the fucking sweet. That's what you should be doing.
That's a really good point, man. I think people need to understand, if they want to build something, you're going to be completely unbalanced for years. This is going to have to, if you want it to succeed, you're going to have to be obsessed about it to the point of sacrificing almost everything else in your life.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the more you are, the faster that success comes. But there's no way around that. Like, there is no shortcut to that. Like, that's what it takes to achieve whatever anything difficult is you want to do. Whereas being a Twitch streamer, you know what I mean? Which seems, I'm just going to go play video games on fucking whatever. Like, those guys, the hours that they put in, I mean, that's a fucking sacrifice.
Yeah.
You think their girlfriend really loves them fucking hanging out on the fucking, they're bitching at me. You're on fucking goddamn computer game again. Like, oh, I'm a number 15 Twitch streamer. Like, she didn't give a fuck. She wants a boyfriend or whatever it is.
Yeah, but the same advice of like, but the good news is those are just seasons. Like the season you had first year starting your business versus the 10th year, totally different, but you can't fucking skip it. No. You can't skip it, and just trust it's a season. It's going to be out of balance. It's going to seem like fucking chaos for a while. Then it gets a little better and a little better. But if you try to skip it, you will fail.
It's like the foundation, man. If you can't build a skyscraper on a fucking foundation of bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have a solid foundation for whatever you want to build, whether that's, business stuff or a military career or whatever it is. Like, you have to go through the hard shit to be able to learn the skills to build something that's going to last the test of time. Otherwise, you're just going to build something that's going to fucking get crushed. You're going to be constantly building new shit and not be able to build anything big because you didn't build the fucking foundation right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole goal setting too kind of goes along with what you're saying before about like prioritizing what you want to do with a business, but the same can be said for like a personal life. At least some of the stuff I taught my kids is like, look, short-term, long-term goals.
Yeah.
There's something you truly want, write that shit on a piece of paper and put that motherfucker on the mirror in the bathroom. You're seeing it every day, but not only that, but realize that whatever you're seeing, you still have to have a fucking plan to execute it to get there. And your short-term goal should impact your long-term.
Yeah, you're not going to just manifest fucking a yacht.
Well, and it goes back to, people going, oh, well, fuck, I want to be this social media influencer. We're like, okay, that's fine.
There?
Like, well, it's fine. You want to have 1 million fucking followers or whatever, but how do you get there? You have to be mildly fucking interesting to get 2 followers, 7 followers, 30 followers. I mean, you're not just going to flip a fucking coin and be like, hey, look at me.
I was talking to a team guy we both know, very gregarious guy, really interesting personality type. And, but he doesn't he's never been in business. He doesn't quite understand that yet. And he was talking to me because I wanted to have him on the show because he'd be great on the show. And he's like, well, I was like, what do you want to do? He's like, I want to fucking highlight veteran awareness. And he had this big goal for this kind of nonprofit thing that he wanted to set up. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. That's perfect. Like, well, you can come on the show and like, it's a pretty good platform to be able to chat about that. And he's like, no, I don't want to talk about it. I'm like, how the fuck do you think anybody's going to know about it, bro? How the fuck do you think this is going to happen? You can't just manifest like this massive thing that you want to build. Like, you just sit in your room and jerk off. One day I'm going to have this fucking thing. Like, no, bro, you're not going to have shit except a sore dick.
Yeah. That's a real thing though, man. I remember.
Sore dick.
Sort of, it's a real thing, bro. But no, and I have such an opinion on manifesting because it's also got to be attached with like the work that goes into it. But there's something very fundamentally different. And when I was as far back as moving to San Diego, and I said, growing up in Arizona, that was everybody's dream. They look at California. Obviously, you always see that there's Arizona people vacationing out here. But most all Arizona people say, oh, one day I'm gonna move there. Oh, I'd love to move there. And it's silly because I was a Tony Robbins subscriber back then, just in his books and all that. And this was like early Tony Robbins days. But the difference in saying out loud, saying, I am moving to San Diego. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was a book I read at the time, and I started saying that, and now it holds me accountable. Instead of saying, like, I'm going to move there someday, now it's shuffled off. I started saying, like, no, I'm moving. I'm moving. Yeah. And I had to stay true and, like, fuck, well, I'm going to let me down if I don't. Yeah. And the same thing goes for that. Like, you got to start putting it out there. Your language is everything, more to you than everybody else, but you got to, are you committed or not? You know?
We're talking shit about manifesting, but it works. You know what I mean? It really does work. But that thing of like putting what you want on the mirror, it makes you think about every decision that you have. Like, am I moving forward towards this goal? Because in order to manifest it, you have to do the work. In order to do the work, you have to decide to do these things, and you have to decide to sacrifice one thing for the other. So talking about it makes you accountable to other people. That comes into decision. Well, fuck, I said I was going to do this. That means, because you can't do everything, and the definition of focus is saying no to everything else.
Yeah.
So in order to focus on something, you have to exclude a ton of shit. Mm-hmm. So if you want to do this, that means you're not doing a ton of other things. So you have to kind of, I think there's value in these old school like manifesting things, but where people go wrong is they think, oh, that's all I got to do. I'll just make a vision board and then sit at home. I'm like, bro, no, you got to go after these stuff.
Yeah. Still some follow through.
Yeah. And sometimes too, you go out, and what I've noticed as well is like kind of how the world or the universe or God works is that I think manifestation works, but God helps those that help themselves. Mm-hmm. So if you go out and do the work, and if it's on your path and meant to be, the universe or God will put people in your place, in your path, that will help you along the way. Mm-hmm. And I know that's been very true in my life, where a lot of when Mike and I first started Forge, a lot of our best business contacts just came from going out and partying and hanging out and meeting people. Yeah. And I think a lot of these people they're just doing the online thing, or they're not having these in-person conversations, are missing out on the opportunities that are presented to them because they're limiting their social interaction so much. And there's so much value in that. I mean, granted, I definitely went off the deep end, was just partying and PB for no reason. That's not moving the needle either. Yeah. But I think in order to take advantage of the opportunities that the universe presents to you, you need to be in the fucking world.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think manifesting, a better way to like look at it, I always say is intention setting. Is like you set the intention, so then everything you're doing is around that intention. Because manifesting is the same thing as like you're just putting it out there in the ether, and then like I hope it happens. If you're intention setting, then every move you make, it's towards that intention. Because like we were talking about Arte, but there's so many other places that people are going for like inspiration, motivation. There's every city across the country has some sort of mentorship group or summit or that. I'm like, or networking right now is a big topic for me. I'm like, you're networking, but what's your intention behind networking? Like, what are you going there with the intention to do? To meet this specific person? I think if you intention set, like I want to do, like if it's a social influence, like that's your intention. Now all the actions you take up to then is that intention. But what do you want to do when you get that? Like, what do you actually want to do with it? And usually the answer is like, well, fuck, I don't know. So everybody else is doing it. Yeah. You know?
Like,
Yeah. So
I just want to make a bunch of money on Instagram. You're like, then what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think oftentimes I've noticed in my own life that I don't know what step 2 is until I take step 1.
Yeah.
And through that action, I learn more. I'm like, oh, and then step 2 becomes so fucking obvious that you got to take it. But I would have never. It's usually not logical either. It's usually not something I would have figured out. It's like, oh, I never would have thought this is step 2. But because I took these steps and learned these things, it's so fucking clear. Yeah. And that's just kind of how I run things now, is I have a big picture vision. Like I generally want to go that direction 100 miles, right? But the next step, and I know I want to step here, but I don't know where steps 2, 3, 5 are or whatever. Yeah. But I know I'm generally going in this direction. It's never a straight shot. Yeah. It's always like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But as long as I don't go in a fucking circle.
Yeah.
You know?
But I think almost with anything, the hardest step's the first one. That's step 1. And that's anything. Like I talk about the gym, and you said you do Muay Thai. Like just going to the gym.
Just getting there.
Yeah, that's step one. Then when you're there, it's actually pretty fucking easy.
Yeah.
It's a step there. Like I remember I started boxing 10 years ago. I was fucking terrified because you're thinking all the bad things.
I'm going to look stupid. Everybody's going to laugh at me.
For sure. And you do look stupid. You do get beat up, but then now all of a sudden, like now it's just a fucking, like I can walk in anywhere, like, and you're comfortable because you kept fucking taking that step. But I think what we're doing now is like, there's an over paralysis on analysis, and everybody wants to make sure I have everything perfect for that first. It's not. That's not how it works. They want a mentor. They want to research. They want to chat GPT it. Like no, just fucking step. Just go.
That's not how business works. You can have all that. You're still going to get fucked up. You're still going to get punched in the face by the market, by your own business, by employees, by all kinds of shit, man. Like there is no fucking easy path. You just got to be resilient, build resiliency, and then decide that like you're going to fucking keep going, man. It's not complicated. It's just fucking hard.
I just think there's an intense fear around now of that first step and looking like a fool. People don't want to look like a fool right now because there's so much more, like they're seeing more. They're so worried. Like it's not just I take that step and the people immediately around me, I look like a fool. They're so worried. Like, how do I look online and the other people and that, like I look like a fool compared to what all these fucking people are doing.
Because all they see is the polished shit that people have presented to the world. They don't see all the outtakes, all the failures. Like, look at me,
Getting
I'm perfect.
Punched in the face several times. Before you know to keep your fucking hands up. You know, like fuck. Like,
but now, dude, I fucking love taking the first step. Even if it's something new, I love, like, as much as I build something up, I have this weird, and hopefully I lose this quality sometime. Like, I love them being the little guy again. Like, we kind of were the little guy launching this. Like, no one knew what it was. We were getting a new market. We were kind of like educating them. Like, it was a first step. Like, I fucking love that. I love going back down to ground zero and then building it back up.
It's exciting. That's how I feel with the podcast. We're learning a whole new thing that I know nothing about. And I'm like, fuck, man, this is a wild fucking ride, dude. I love it. You guys want to take another break?
So is there, I know we didn't talk a lot about the fact that these are perishable. Is there any plan in the works for anything canned that would be like shelf stable for?
Right now we are.
Okay.
Yeah. So the same company who does that
Who does
bottle.
this?
So we've kind of landed on a recipe with them for that can, the original, and this bold, because there's nothing added to it that we're comfortable with. It matches our flavor. But we're actually in the process of, we just brought on a guy who it's called retorting. When you retort, you can do it for food, beverages, all that, and it's new for us because what it actually does to like the chemistry of the product is kind of fucks it up. So then they have to like add shit back into it. So the process of like nailing the recipe, but it's still then it makes it shelf stable 12 months. But this is new for us, so we have a guy who, you know,
that's all he does.
Retained for the next 3 months.
He's the head retort.
Yeah, that's what he is. Dude's super. I mean, he's an old head. He's been doing this a long time, and I love his comfort and confidence. He's like, no, I can fucking do that. So he literally has these in his hands right now in his facility up in Big Bear, and he's matching us, getting us some samples back. Because we're also like, dude, we know a lot of people are loyal to it because it's a really good product, and there's people are label readers now. So we didn't want to flush it with a bunch of fucking shit. Actually, we've been authorized on military bases here since almost day one. I was fortunate. A guy I used to work with way back, he started his own water line, and then he started a distribution company, and his like sweet spot, he does all military base. And I just phoned him and said, hey, I just bought this company. You still in the beverage game? He came down, and he was super fucking rad. He's like, hey, I'll get your SKU authorized like that. And then he got the next one and the next one. So like we've been on Navy bases here since day one.
Oh, that's
nice.
killer.
Yeah.
But in order to go, like, you know, we've had the product in front of the buyers of the Marines on the East Coast, and all that. They want something that's shelf stable. They want something that's able to be like, so you have to cold chain it. It's not perishable. So it was kind of like a little bit of a motivator for us to actually put some money into that. And we're also, one of our big initiatives now, we're also getting our first crack at Costco.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's really fucking exciting. It's very nerve-wracking.
Do they order by like the truckload?
Yeah, when they truckloads is a very casual conversation from
Wow.
And I'm sitting on the call, I'm like, oh yeah, truckload, that's fine. Knowing very much like, oh, that's 15 pallets of fucking product. Like, but what's good is we're starting here, and the buying power and the volume they do is everything you hear. Like, these stores are doing $1 million a day. They're fucking crazy.
Wow.
And they're also, we've been very lucky that the local guy here is very much acting like a partner. So he doesn't want to capsize us. He's very much working on our timeline. There's a bunch of hoops to jump through. We had to increase our insurance. We have to go through audits and all that. But it's one of those, when you're in, obviously you hear all the stories about it.
Yeah.
You're in.
Your ship has arrived.
Yeah. And he fortunately, like, they oversee the Southwest, so we can, like, 2026, our goal is to be in all, he's got a roadmap a little bit more aggressive than us here. But then he's already he's like, hey, we want to stock these in all, like the Arizonas, Nevada.
Wow.
And we're launching our first, we're like, literally I came from a meeting before this. We're launching the first 4-pack case design. That's what they're going to be selling to members. And it's actually the orange can, the vanilla, and then the horchata is what's going to be at the first road shows in Costco. So, yeah, it's a nerve-wracking process.
Like all together, or this would be
that'll be a
4-pack?
These. That'll be a 4-pack.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So
That's cool. I was like, where's the 4th can?
Yeah. But so no, we know if we're going to go outside of here, we're going to probably have to bring in a partner co-packer, and we're going to have to make sure we can get a shelf-stable product to, same thing. So
That's cool, though. I mean, fucking exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, just the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's fun.
Like, how many? I mean, just you said Nevada, Arizona, and California. Like, how many fucking stores is that? Like 500?
Yeah. No, it's a lot. In San Diego County, we're probably in at least 500 doors. We're with
500 stores?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you look at, we do really
No.
well.
I just meant Costco.
Oh,
Costco
yeah.
stores.
Costco, there's 15.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's 15. But those 15 alone, we'd be happy just the volume you can do in those. Right?
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah, I was
that's
thinking.
crazy.
I was thinking if you're, California, Nevada, and Arizona, that's a huge fucking.
Yeah.
That's a huge nut to crack right there.
Dang.
Dude, and we were lucky how it came to us, because most people are just like banging down the doors of Costco. We actually had the assistant store manager at their Temecula location. He was buying, because we do a lot of kegs. He was buying kegs off of our website for his machine that he made at home, because his wife loved our product. And Samantha,
That's awesome.
who I actually put you on email with, she managed all the online. And one time she forwarded me his purchase. She's like, Pete, his email address has Costco in it. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? And he would come down and he'd pick it up in person too. So I'm like, hey, next time he's coming in, you make sure I'm here so I can corner this guy.
Hey, buddy.
And he was so fucking nice. And then he kind of went and lobbied for us to his store. And the store was like, well, you have to go through this person. So the fact that it came from a store saying they want it, it didn't make it like an open door to us. Like, this has been 10 months in the work. But the way we got in, we weren't like pestering them to get in. But once you're in, like right now, from now till the New Year's Eve is what we've slated. They've slated as our first roadshow at the Marina store. We have a ton of fucking homework. And like, we're also investing in some equipment and shit to like make sure we're scaling up just for what's mapped out for the next couple of months.
Wow.
But yeah, it's exciting.
Dude, it's so crazy. Like when you're on the right path, that's what I mean. Like the universe will just put the right things in the right place for you, like better than you can ever set up for yourself. It's so crazy how often that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've also found when you're on the wrong path, it'll find little fucking roadblocks put in your path. Like, motherfucker, how do you not get there?
Yeah, exactly.
And I've learned too, like, I still want to try and cut corners on certain things, but you'll feel it in the long run. So we've become really good. And sometimes it's the people around me that help me make sure I don't try to cut corners, because I'm all gas. Like, I want to go. And we become really good at like, no, let's do it the right way. We literally just had this conversation this week if we maybe potentially miss that 12/31 date, but we do it the right way with the audit team and everything else, and we're prepared, what's the difference in the long term, the relationship with them?
Yeah.
So, because I'm a fucking eager beaver, like let's go. I want to see it in there. So,
Step up production now.
Yeah. And I had our production guy. He actually was in one of the last meetings, and it was the first time. We try to keep it from him until it's like, hey, here's the finalized production run. but he heard what this guy threw out, and he like had a freak out moment. Like, dude, don't fucking worry. We're not doing this overnight. But no, it's
You've got 2 nights.
Yeah. That's funny.
That's awesome.
That's killer, man. So where do you go from there? Is it like, how many partners do you have on it?
So directly working like day to day, I have 3 operating partners, and the company we hold together is what holds the equity in controlling stake in Dropkick, and then we have some outside investors as well in it. But those are the ones who I'm very lucky. They've Samantha Lone's been with me 12 years. She started as an employee 12 years.
Wow.
Kenny, who's my main business partner, it's been since 2018, 19. Sergio, who who's also a partner in the company, about the same time period. So I have a really good supporting cast.
That's awesome.
I'm so fucking grateful for that. Because it's not been easy, and it's not going to continue. We still got a lot of hard in front of us. Tackling this is really fucking hard, and there's a lot of people who probably what we're staring down right now. It wouldn't be reasonable.
Choose your hard.
Yeah, and you're also asking a lot. But we're really good at laying out the long-term benefits. So I'm lucky to have that. Same way you have your wife who's working in the business with you. I know these are people who are they're in it. They're in it.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about that.
Oh man, you got to have a committed partner, dude.
Yeah.
100%.
It's why we too, it's another reason why selling the Poke restaurant, selling our bar and whatnot, it was me basically saying long-term, what are we doing? Are we going to make more of these Poke shops? Are we going to add more bars? We know the path with this. We just need everybody's attention on it. Cause when we started, I do a lot of our new business development in outside markets. It started pulling me away from San Diego. I still touch Nevada at least once or twice a month. I have a full-time rep out there. And then we got in the Pac Northwest. We're January 1st going to be in Chicago, Illinois, and DC. That changes everything. My schedule-wise, and this, when you're pulled away from your business, you kind of have freak-out moments. It's like putting cameras on your house. What the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
So I feel very secure when you have partners, who are home base, and while you're out, it's definitely given a peace of mind that took a long fucking time to get. Yeah,
dude, you guys are crushing. So where do you go from here? You already get in Costco. You're in 500 stores. What's the peak?
Yeah, so it's just adding distribution. So right now, like I said, those other markets, it's getting these in. If we can be in all 50 states distributed, that's probably, if you say long term, that's a pretty big milestone. But we also our partnerships are big too. Costco's a partner right now. We actually this week just launched the first ones. We've been about 4 months in partnership with Tito's, and Tito's we were lucky. They came to us through their distributor and some relationships we knew. And I don't know if you've seen these machines at bars, but they have Kettle One has a lot of them.
Yep.
Grey Goose. It's basically a machine that it dispenses a made espresso martini. And what's good is we can be poured in any of those, and we work with Kettle, we work with all them. But Tito's came to us saying basically we want to punch back. We want to launch. They came to us wanting to launch a pre-batched keg. So beers are dying, so bars are willing to give up their draft lines now. So they wanted to put an espresso martini in a keg.
Interesting.
And that's the lane. And so cool, we can do that. And we actually do that for Barley Mash. We do their kegs. Nolita Hall's got it on kegs. There's some of these higher volume places have it. But we're can we at least present you both? Let us present you at their facility, at their distributor. We'll pre-batch a keg. You guys can try it, but let us find these machines that these other companies are using. So we source the manufacturer. And we did a presentation and sampling, here's one out of the machine, here's one out of the keg, whichever one you guys like, but also let us tell you what the work that's going to go into upkeeping a draft line. It's a fucking lot. You got to have a separate team then who cleans a line, is there when there's issues. Draft systems are fucking crazy. There's long draw, short draw. It's fucking wild. So we kind of get spoon fed them. Are you guys prepared to be in that space where you're getting calls saying, hey, my draft's down? And you got to send, you got to maintain. Versus
that troubleshoot guy has to be there.
Yeah, and who's that guy? And so then they brought in a team who does that. But then we're these machines are fucking great for a bar or restaurant. And now, again, 4 months in the works, we just installed at the first 10 accounts in San Diego, the first 10, call it pilot customers, and it's going fucking great.
Oh, shit.
So now we're talking with them the budget to do, because San Diego was their test market. And obviously Tito's fucking everywhere. So now they're getting people from the Tito's team in Nevada, in the Midwest, and they're we want this.
Yeah.
And we're pretty important to the partnership because we're non-alc. So they legally cannot give a bar a machine. You just can't lick it, especially in California. It's so heavily regulated. So they get the machine from us. So we keep the machines at our place. When Tito's or us identifies and vets an account who says like Duck Dive right now is on is one of the next up.
I love Duck
Kent's
Dive, man.
Pub.
Yeah. They come to us. We install the machine. It's a mandate that they have to use our product. We give them the recipe card. Obviously, if they use Tito's in it. So we're like, that partnership for us is another
awesome.
big initiative.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So when you guys do kegs, like, is it off running on nitro or is it on CO2?
Yeah,
it's
so
all nitro.
That's all. It should be tucked inside. There's actual nitrogen tank in there.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you ran multiple batches of some are nitro, some are CO2, or
Nope, ours is all nitro.
All nitro. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, so that's been. We still do a lot of kegs, just straight cold brew. But the Tito's partnership is definitely a hot topic.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's
Yeah,
exciting.
Tito's has come a long way, man. I mean, shit, just I don't know how long they've been in business, but I remember when they were like small, I don't even think they can call themselves small batch anymore, but they're fucking huge. Now it's like Tito's and soda. It's not even vodka soda. It's like Tito's and soda. Like there's no,
That's it.
Yeah, it's my go-to.
and it's fucking weird because I've been to some bars that don't serve Tito's, like fucking Pal Joey's. They're like, oh, we don't have Tito's. I'm like, you don't have fucking Tito's? How the fuck do you stay in business?
Go to the store.
Like, we have
buy some.
Kettle One. I'm like,
That's usually a kettle will pay for that, so they can't carry it.
yeah,
And what happened too is Tito's is by far the biggest vodka brand now.
yeah.
But they were losing market share because Kettle, they've been 2 years in now, maybe more, putting those machines, so they were losing market share. Like nobody was associating Tito's with espresso martini. It was always Goose and Kettle.
Yeah.
So and Tito's is also like, they're so fucking big. Their story is really cool, but they're also very set in their ways. And it's still like old man Tito is like, he's still the outright, he owns all the company, which is rare. Like most of these are owned by like VCs and other shit. There's so many fucking cooks in the kit. It's him.
Old man Tito. That's awesome, dude.
His son is I've heard, well, I know his son lives here. He lives in Mission Beach and he's kind of like, he works in the company. He's kind of being groomed to
Oh shit.
take it over, which is wild. But they're very much like, no, we're going to do that bottle and that's it. Like they don't want to do, some of these other brands have done like RTD cans of like, a pre-batch seltzer or, all those
like
you've seen.
Cutwater.
They do not want to do that. So they're pretty set in their ways. So this is kind of like a big step for them to do this. But every bar, even that one you talk about, they want Tito's. They know everybody wants it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they get hamstrung because they'll make a deal with Grey Goose or Kettle and like, cool, we'll give you this $3,000 machine. We'll give you this discount price, but like you're exclusive. You can't carry anything else.
Yeah.
And they kind of sell away their fucking rights.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, that bar I go to every now and then, and they still pour. They got a heavy fucking pour, and their drinks are fucking cheap as fuck.
Yeah.
But it's weird. I'll go in there and be like, Tito soda, and they're like,
About that.
before they can even say anything, I'm like, fuck, that's right. Like Kettle's fine. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not like I'm being sponsored by Tito's. Not yet.
But you're right. You've made it when someone just calls for the drink and it's by your name.
Yeah.
Like Tito's soda. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's like if we could like distill down what we're working on now, those are the big ones.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it, man. That's good stuff. Well, fuck, those are roller coaster stories, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have one more like crazy wild story from back in the day, like from the limo stuff? We close it out with some like
words of wisdom.
banger. Yeah.
Don't eat yellow snow.
Fuck, dude. I don't know. There were so many of those. I gave you the heater with the
Yeah. Fucking old Don going on a bender with the fucking hookers and blow.
yeah.
Which, yeah, that's. I can't imagine. I mean, and thank God, luckily, it wasn't like, or was it the bigger bus, or was this a smaller bus?
So he was actually driving the smaller bus, but it was his first cash job.
Yeah, I was gonna say, luckily it wasn't the big bus to where it would have been couple grand instead of just $1,000 in cash. It's like.
Yeah.
Because I remember some of those buses.
Big buses are harder to hide too.
Yeah, harder to park.
Yeah.
But I remember some of those times we'd get on some of those fucking limo buses, dude, and it's just fucking packed with fucking people.
Yeah.
And they weren't always super cheap. you know, because you knew you were going to drink, you were going to be driving around downtown or driving from PB to downtown or PB downtown back to PB, and you know, so it is fucking crazy. Like, I would think you guys kind of reached a level of what's affordable, what's not affordable, what's scalable, what's not, you know, I mean, it is pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah. And all those, the biggest obstacle we had back then was all those big buses, like legally could only have 47 passengers. And most of those buses leaving PB and whatnot, there'd be 60, 70 people waiting out there. And so the driver, what we learned.
None of you guys are cops, are you?
Yeah. But the drivers were, if they were, I like to say if they were smart, they would cut the person running the bus at 47. They'd be like, if you want more on, because if they get pulled over, we don't technically get dinged, but they have a commercial license and they'll get, I think you only get like 1 or 2 points on your license and they'll take it. So our drivers were taking like, cool, $20 a head past this 47. And I remember specifically once when Miller's Field was Miller's Field before Breakfast Republic, that was a big pickup point. And one night I just fucking pulled up there and just hung out. Cause I'm like, I know these fucking guys are doing this. And I went on there and I showed up right as they were like loading the last ones up. And it's a guy who like, I still actually keep in touch. One of our like main drivers. And I think he had like 74, 75 on there.
Jesus.
And I rolled up there. I'm like,
He's like, cha-ching.
but I looked at him like, what the fuck? Cause there was, I mean, we weren't allowing that. So he had to literally, like, the one time I showed up, he had to let them all off, but that was like the game. That was the game they played. Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Here's your $20 back.
Yeah. But
yeah, that's fucking great.
Those are wild times. So I'm actually glad I don't have stories like that anymore. I'm glad I have to really like think back because I don't know how much nerves I have left for like the real stories like that.
Dude, 100%. Like all the stories we tell about partying back in the day, like, I'm glad I had those experiences. I don't want to do that anymore, though.
No,
like,
yeah, dude.
I'm fine just like sipping one of the, espresso martini on a yacht somewhere. Like that's my idea of partying these days.
Dude, that's why I don't get these guys who are like Uber celebrities, wealthy, and they're still getting in fucking trouble. Like, how you guys have people who could be in front of people who could protect you from all that shit, and just like P. Diddy right now, I was following like, what the fuck were you doing? You're sitting in a grungy goddamn prison in New York right now, and you're a billionaire. Yeah, you're a fool.
Yeah, like what the fuck? That shit blows my mind. I mean, that is, it's just ignorance or something. But it's like, when is enough enough?
It's power.
Yeah,
it's power for sure.
For some people, there is no exit for that.
Yeah,
like there's no off ramp. They're just like,
well, who's the one like little kid you see? He's like walking around and he's got like this big fucking bodyguard, and he just like bows up to people and like waits for him to like get in the fight, and then the bodyguard like grabs
with
him.
A shitty hair job, some Twitch guy.
Little kid.
Dude, he needs to get punched.
But it's so fucking weird. I'm like, like he's just walking through like a mall, and then he just bows up to people, and then when you like go to like fucking thump this kid, like he's got this giant fucking bodybuilder. He's like, whoa, hold up a second. I'm like, like how soon before this dude like the bodyguard bows up to him and the bodyguard gets fucking shot or some shit. And you're like, you know,
well, I think there should be some repercussions for your actions. Like if you're going to be an asshole, there's a certain amount of like balance in that. And you do that to the wrong person, you're like, well,
which is fucking crazy, man.
Like, find out.
Yeah,
that's the way it should be. Brother, thank you so much for coming on, man. It was cool to hear the story about the evolution of this and then all your projects and life and shit, dude. It was awesome.
Yeah,
this is great, guys.
It's awesome. Waiting to see how high this goes too, you know?
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh man, we knew this guy way back when.
I hope that's the case.
Yeah.
Absolutely, brother.
Thank you.
That's the case. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh, last thing, where can people find you on Instagram and the websites or all that stuff?
So this is Dropkick Brew. Instagram, same as the website. That's usually the easiest. We do a pretty good job keeping like store locator updated. And Instagram's usually like the best pulse on new markets, what we're doing. I know we're doing a big release of the Tito's machines that are coming out because now that they're installed, we got some stuff going on that. But we're going to be very loud once Costco's live, and we're going to do some like fun interactive stuff, like people going there to buying the cans, and we're doing a reimburse. Like we're going to get very interactive with Costco in the partnership, so we'll be loud on that.
That's awesome.
That's cool. Yeah, wherever you're watching this at, just scroll up or down, and we'll tag the links in there.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Ready,
Thanks,
break.
Yeah. All right.